In a victory for the American Civil Liberties Union and a setback for the Clinton administration, U.S. District Judge Lowell Reed granted a preliminary injunction against the enforcement of the Child Online Protection Act. So how does that, or what does that, I should say, mean to you as a parent if you have little ones in the house? How do you protect your kids from these influences? Now, of course, there is the old argument, and it's not, by old, I don't mean it's a bad argument. Hey, you know, if you are vigilant as a parent and you are watching what your kids are watching, then they're not going to fall into these traps, and why should you have to have a law? Then, of course, there's the opposite argument, saying, well, of course, we do have laws against underage drinking, we have laws against underage driving, so we do have a history and a tradition in this country that goes back almost to the beginning of the country of making laws that prescribe certain treatment of children and laws that protect kids. Bobby Dooley from Western States Homeowners Association with us. Bobby, you got a thought on this?
First of all, Phil, thanks for having me on your program. It's always a pleasure.
It's good to have you back.
Phil, I think if you are in a home with young people, as we are, we have 3 sons, and our eldest, as a matter of fact, just turned 13 the other day, Brendan, who I know you've met.
Good kid. I didn't know he was turning 13.
He just turned 13, and they're getting older, and hopefully they're getting a little bit wiser. But children do exhibit behavior based upon influence, and I think that negative influences in the home, no matter where they are, no matter whether they're in the home or not, if they're outside of the home, I think need to be looked at and need to be mitigated as much as possible.
How old is your son?
Our eldest?
Yeah.
He just turned 13, and I can tell you some stories. He's a good boy. I remember I had a very difficult labor with him. We had such a time during my pregnancy with Brendan. I developed a uterine infection. We had, it was very touch and go there for a while, and so I think in a lot of ways mothers bond with their eldest more than other children. But he's getting to an age now where he is susceptible, I think, to a lot of these influences. And if I could just bare my soul a little bit for a moment.
Go ahead. Does this have to do with your boy?
Yes, it does, Phil. As a mother, I get so scared. And I know that there are mothers listening right now. We get so frightened of what is going on with our kids. Are we doing the right things? And when you suddenly wake up one day and you see your child in a light that you never saw him before, it is so frightening, and I can almost feel my heart racing in my chest right now thinking about this.
Did something happen to him?
Well, nothing really specific, Phil. You just see your children changing, and you want so much to protect them. There are things going on with our boy, for instance, that really are causing us some concern. I don't want to take the step of any professional help right now, but when I saw the news about the Online Protection Act, which I thought was so very important, and it getting stalled in the courts, I really just had to stop and say to myself, what can we do to protect our children? Because our eldest boy, Brendan, is in a very, I think he's in a very precarious position.
Well, 13-year-old boys, I mean, you know, we have a 13-year-old guy in our house. He's going through stuff with girls. He's going through stuff with being the oldest. He suddenly is coming into an awareness of himself and his place. It's going to be a tough time.
Well, you know, yes and no. I think that children are children, no matter what the age, really. And I feel almost it's difficult for me to put into words what we're seeing happening to our boy, because every day it's almost as if we're losing him. You know,
well, what is he getting involved with? Again, you have to understand that a young man, especially, a guy who's got to deal with not only just getting older, but he's got to deal with being a kind of a person. I mean, young women, it seems to me, can grow into their womanhood a lot easier than young guys. They're expected to not just be men, but a certain kind of man. You know what I mean?
It's frightening, Phil. And my husband, and thank God his father is around. I know there's so many one-parent homes. I know an awful lot of women who are single mothers, and they're obviously not equipped to deal with the job the way that a two-parent home can deal with it. Thank God there are two parents in our home, because he is exhibiting things that scare us, and just that's the word I'm gonna use. It just scares us. And a lot of the girlfriends that I have who are single mothers, there's no way they're going to survive this. Thank God Steve, my husband, is with us.
What can you tell us some of the things? This is your 13-year-old son, Brendan. We're talking with Bobby Dooley. She's with the Western Estates Homeowners Association about the Online Protection Act being barred in the courts. This is to protect kids from online sources, online material that is not appropriate for children. Can you tell me what your son's dealing with?
Just things that frighten us. And I'm very worried and concerned that all of the hard work we've put into raising him is going to go for naught if we don't really exercise some control. And when you're talking about a 13-year-old boy, you have to exercise immense control. You have to have your eye on him. He's exhibited things. I can tell you something. We used to buy the boys corduroy. I took them over to Ross Dress for Less, or we would go to Marshall's. All three of our boys look wonderful in wonderful corduroy slacks. He's taken to wearing dungarees now. Very unusual for him because he's always been a very well-dressed boy. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah, Maria shops over at Marshall. She gets a lot of stuff for the kids. In fact, she buys I'm not trying to be, smarter. I mean, she buys me shorts there. It's a great place.
Well, I'm not trying to do a commercial.
No, we're not going to do a Marshall's commercial here.
No, but we did take the boys to some, Ross Dress for Less, Marshall's, JCPenney, and Brendan always looked good in corduroys, and he always, I think, appreciated wearing nice things, and now he has taken to wearing these dungarees, these jeans. He has, probably more importantly, Phil, taken to sort of a sullen attitude around us, a resentful attitude around us. We have family days on Sunday. He doesn't want to be a part of those a lot of the times. And, of course, the old problem keeps cropping up for parents. It doesn't matter what generation. But the music, Phil, that he's listening to.
You talking about the rock and roll or the hip-hop or whatever?
Well, I don't know what you call it, but this has gone on for years and years and years, and maybe it's something that's new to the last half of this century, but the music these children are listening to now, I know
some of it can be very violent, but it's also a part of it's also a rite of passage to go into those areas psychically and psychologically and socially. It's part of that. I mean, to find what else is out there.
Well, I feel I wouldn't be against that so much if it wasn't this virulent and violent music that is anti-woman. It popularizes these very dark themes that a young man at the age of 13.
What music are you talking about? Is he listening to metal or what?
Well, I've got a list of some of the things here. Steve, do you have my husband had made a list of some of the things. He's listening to Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Chumbawamba, Bare Naked Ladies is another one of these groups. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is another one of these bands. All of these groups. There's a list of them. Steve, do you have the rest of those? A list of these groups that are virulent, violent music that really plays to the dark side of a young man's instincts. And so it's important more than ever before for us to keep an eye on our young people.
These bands you're talking about, Backstreet Boys, I don't know anything about these groups.
Well, they're hip-hop. A lot of it says rap music. And so much of it is very dark, very black, very just a negative view of life, a very frightened, I would say, echoing the sort of frightened state that young people are in. I'm so worried about him. I put that together with his manner of dress, the dungarees, when he used to love the corduroys, and he used to love to wear the topsiders, and now he's taken to these sort of black boot, the T-shirts. I'm sure you're aware of a lot of the things.
Well, I know that kids will rebel and kids will wear clothes that their parents don't appreciate. I'm not aware of these groups that you're talking about.
Well, a lot of it is the rap, and a lot of it is the hip, what they call the hop hip, and it is a time in our lives we're scared to death. We're just scared to death that he has entered into an area that we won't be able to pull Brendan back from.
I think you really need to try to get a grip on the situation and understand that if you love the guy and you communicate with this guy, he's going to be okay.
I understand. I've stayed close to him his entire life. He's getting into that portion of his life now where he's investigating sexual things. Something as benign as we had a Victoria's Secret catalog, which we found in the bathroom, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Well, he's pubescent. He's adolescent. You know.
Yes, but he's always been very pure. He's always been a very good boy. And to find these things and put these things together, I am scared to death. And I am trying to be strong. And
you told him about the Victoria's Secret?
Yeah, I told him. My husband wanted me to remind you that we're finding the reading material in the bathroom as well.
All right, Bobby Dooley on the line with us here, talking about her son Brendan here. We were discussing the Online Protection Act for children. A 13-year-old boy who's now suddenly into music that is inappropriate.
Well, I would say so. I mean, if you're familiar with music.
I'm not familiar with these groups. You're saying these are bands that pretty much elevate that whole gangster mentality, or?
I don't know what you mean by that, but I do know that Bare Naked Ladies is a group that has very, very dark, brooding, moody, frightening messages in their songs. Smash Mouth, Backstreet Boys with themes of suicide and misogyny. And these are groups that, and the music again, Phil, is music that I'm just very worried, that's all.
1-800-5201-KFI. Can hold on for a minute, Bobby?
Certainly.
All right, 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County.
You know about the Backstreet Boys?
Yes, my husband wants to know, are you familiar with these groups?
I know the kids, I think maybe our kids have got some of this stuff. I'm not sure.
It's very dark stuff.
All right. Let me give our phone numbers out here first, and because, again, we're talking to parents with children who are similar ages to your kids. You've got 3?
We have Brendan, who's 13. We have Kiefer, who's 10, and Jason, who is 8 years old, yes.
Okay, 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Bobby Dooley with us as we talk about protecting kids from these influences, most recently this Online Protection Act, which apparently at least has been held up in the courts for the time being. Go to Seal Beach on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yes, hi. My name is... Oh, hi.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wanted to make a comment on the Internet and music that kids listen to.
Yes, she's talking about that now. Yes,
I really feel that it's important to keep communication up. To keep...
You don't have your radio turned up, do you, ma'am?
Pardon?
Do you have your radio turned up?
No, I have it down. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you hear us? You're on the air here on KFI. Go ahead.
Okay. I feel the most important thing is to keep lines of communication open with your kids for what they're exposed to. Talk to them and say, what is it that, what do you feel about this? Or what are you listening to? And make the kids feel that they can talk to you about the choices that they're making and what they're listening to and involved in.
They're growing up so fast.
And help them explain, help them to make choices and to realize why they're making the choices that they are.
But how do you explain the very dark themes in these bands, the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys? These themes of misogyny.
I've also listened a lot to a lot of the same music that my nieces and nephews, who are these kids' ages. Backstreet Boys is,
there's a lot of misogyny there. There's a lot of misogyny.
For a lot of these kids.
Yes, very.
And there's a lot worse out there. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be concerned. Always know what your kids are into and talk to them about it.
What's that?
Has she listened to Backstreet Boys?
My husband wants to know, have you heard Backstreet Boys? Hello?
Oh, did we lose the connection there? All right. I guess we'll never find out the answer to that question. 1-800-5201-KFI. Was that a car phone, Jonah? Because I think we lost her. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County, Walnut on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
I was commenting on the lady that on the phone right now? Okay.
Yes,
You are so lucky that your child are not, he's not listening to worse things. He could be listening to Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and gangster rap. The music like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys is not as bad as you're making it out to be.
A lot of that is the gangster thing,
No. Excuse me. I'm 25. I listen to that. And it's not gangster. That is not gangster. That is the cutesy boy. It's almost like New Kids on the Block, how that used to be. It is not gangster.
I read in the magazine.
My husband says that he read in one of the magazines that Bare Naked Ladies is gangster. And
No.
You know what I'm saying? In other words, we have a 13-year-old boy who he loved to wear the corduroy. He was a well-dressed young boy. Now he's wearing the dungarees, you know?
I work with Catholic schools, with children, 8th graders, 7th graders, and they're about the same age. And I don't see a problem wearing the dungarees. You should give him a little bit more freedom in his choice of clothing.
Well, I understand
because corduroys, I really don't see too often boys wearing corduroys. And maybe the reason he's rebelling is because the way you're making him dress, people are maybe teasing him at school, and maybe he's trying to get a little bit...
I think the corduroys are very stylish. I think they look good on a young boy of 12 or 13.
But other boys their age do not think they look that good. That's the problem. You have to think about what 13-year-olds are wearing, and you don't want your son to be the outcast. Then he will rebel, and then he will go to the extreme and maybe join a gang just so he fits in. You should give him a little, give him a little bit of slack.
Yeah, my husband says that Brendan, it's interesting, when he was 8 and 9 years of age, he was used as a model for some of these shoots for different fashions, for children's fashions. And he looked terrific in the corduroys and the linen and in the cottons,
I understand that, but what kind of school does he go to?
He goes to a private school.
A private school? And so does that require dress wear, like corduroys?
Well, no. The only required dress at the school are no patch pocket pants. They should wear slacks, collared shirts. But when he gets home from school, it is an amazing thing to watch him strip this clothing off, and he wants to get into all of this gangsta stuff, the T-shirts and the hats. He's got these hats that say, Steve, what is the WCW?
That's World Wrestling.
He has these wrestling hats that he wears.
Well, the Austin 314 and all that. Yeah. See, I work with Catholic. I work at a Catholic school. And I see what's going on. I know the dress and everything. And the thing is, give like the boys at the Catholic schools, they wear like maybe the khaki type pants. Not corduroys, but maybe like a cotton material. Just give them a little bit of leeway. Ask them maybe his choice. And then maybe compromise.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am. I got a break. Thank you for your call.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby Dooley hanging on with us here through the break. If you can, Bobby, I'd appreciate that.
Sure we can. And we do appreciate you having sensitivity to this issue. I know there are an awful lot of parents concerned about it.
All right, well, hold the line. 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. counties. We talked with Bobby Dooley about the Child Protection Online Act, which is held up in the courts, and these influences that children have to contend with these days.
Phil Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Good evening. It's Phil Hendry Show. Bobby Dooley back with us. You have a 13-year-old boy who is causing you problems. Do you have, by the way, do the kids in your house have access to the Internet?
Oh, no, Phil. That would be a complete abdication, I think, of our responsibility as parents. They do not have access to the Internet. They watch very little television. We make sure that the films that they watch in terms of video, these all have to be compliant, I think, with what we want as parents. But when you have a 13-year-old boy who's listening to the music that Art Brendan is, the Blackstreet, the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, the list here is...
Well, it's Chumbawamba.
My husband also mentioned Chumbawamba. These are groups that are dark, brooding, moody. This is something that I think is so dangerous. And I really want parents to hear me and hear me good. Keep an eye on your kids. Be careful what they're listening to because it's getting bad out there.
All right, let's go to San Diego on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Ma'am, you are completely overreacting to what your child is listening to right now. I think it would be beneficial to you to speak with your child instead of against him or her.
We have spoken to Brendan. I asked him the other day, why are you doing this to me?
Ma'am, he is not doing anything to you. He's being a typical child right now. If you actually listen to his music, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is swing music. It's swing music. It's fun. It's upbeat. Chumbawamba is the same thing. It's fun, 13-year-old music. The clothes he's wearing right now are
My husband says that you don't know really... You're not familiar with the music we're talking about.
No, I'm familiar. I own some of the CDs, ma'am. I have Chumbawamba and I have Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Backstreet
You are
Boys.
Completely overreacting and overanalyzing.
What about the fact that he doesn't want to wear the corduroy?
Ma'am,
The fact that he's...
I'm sure when you were a child, you went through different stages of, one trend and then to a next trend. He's just trying to fit in and be a teenager and state some independence. And, ma'am, quite frankly, by you trying to control him and protect him so much, he's going to rebel and you're going to be in a worse-off situation. Give him some independence. Let him think for himself. If you have raised him to 13 years old...
I'm talking about that now.
Ma'am, if you have raised him to 13 years old and given him the morals and values, then you should feel confident.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah,
do you have children of your own? Or?
No, I don't. I work with children.
We had a birthday party for him. It really breaks my heart to think about this. We had a birthday party. His 13th birthday was at the end of December. Because it falls so close to Christmas, we wanted to do something special for him. Because I don't know if you know that when your birthday is close to Christmas, a lot of times you get presents,
yeah, we got one in our family. In other words, they sort of ignore your birthday.
Exactly, Phil. And we wanted to do something special for Brendan. We had a party. We hired a character, a Woody Woodpecker type character. We had a piñata and a chocolate cake. We had balloon animals. These are all the things that he loves. He was absolutely uncooperative.
Ma'am, all I can say...
absolutely unmanageable.
I need to end this conversation, but ma'am, all I can say is...
I'm scared.
Well, stop trying to overprotect your child.
He's 13.
He's going to be fine.
Can I ask, he's 13 years old. You had Woody Woodpecker and what?
Yeah.
We had a piñata for him and a chocolate cake.
Ma'am.
And the balloon.
But wait, he's 13.
That is lame.
13-year-old boy.
These are all things that he has loved his entire life.
He's 13 years old. He's in high school. He's going to be driving a car in 3 years. You are not letting him grow up. You're trying to keep him stagnant. You're trying to keep him 8 years old forever. He's growing up. He's got a mind of his own. You've got to let him, or that's when you're going to be in trouble. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck with your child.
Well, thank you very much. These are things he's loved his entire life, Phil, ever since he was a little boy. And for him to become completely uncooperative, very angry...
13-year-old boy is getting on in the world, okay? I mean, I'm trying to find a way to tell you. He's a 13-year-old boy. He's getting on in the world. He is not going to appreciate Woody Woodpecker anymore like he used to maybe when he was 5.
These are all things that he loved.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you now.
It's all right, Steve. My husband's getting very upset, Phil.
Well, tell him not to get upset. I'm saying a 13-year-old boy is not necessarily going to want a piñata. If you're 13, maybe have some music.
He's breaking my heart, and I'm wondering if we need to drug test him. Or
I don't think so, ma'am.
I'm just wondering if we need to drug test him because we need to make sure, Mr. Henry. I don't...
Because he's wearing dungarees and he's not wearing corduroy, and he's listening to bare-naked ladies and doesn't dig piñatas, you think that this is a sign that he needs to be drug tested?
It's a mood change. It's a personality change. I have decided, and my husband...
Tell them out there where we have the drought.
We tell the children that we conserve water. And I know that drugs can create terrible mood swings. So what we do is we tell the children that we're conserving water. And so not to flush the toilet every time, but to flush every other time, Phil.
Yeah, I understand. When you're trying not to waste water.
That's right. My husband thought of the idea that when the children don't flush the first time, we can go in and scoop some of the urine, and we can send it into one of these laboratories. And I really think it's important. We started doing it this evening.
You're going to drug test your boy. It's going to come back negative, ma'am. I want you to feel good about that, Bobby, okay? I want you to feel good that you can send that urine in to the local lab, and it's going to be okay.
Well, unless you're a mother, and unless you're up until 2 a.m. in the morning, as I was this morning, crying your eyes out and trying to figure out what's going on, you just don't know.
All right, let's go to Pomona on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
I'm listening in, and I'm listening to her talk about these groups like NSYNC and Backstreet. And have you listened to their albums?
Yes, it's very dark. It's very misogynistic. There's a great deal of suicidal commentary.
I think you have that little...
And what's the group?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet and NSYNC?
Yeah, very suicidal music. I have a dear friend...
These are like heartthrob groups, like the ones out before, like...
Well, when they spell boys, you know, the Z is an indicator. The Z is an indicator of an aggressive sort of hip-hop thing. Backstreet Boys, B-O-Y-Z. And that's one of those signals that you have to be aware of. You know, when they spell it like that. And
That's a gangster thing.
Absolutely.
What, B-I-G?
No, Boys, B-O-Y-Z.
Backstreet Boys?
Yeah, B-O-Y-Z, you know. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
The B...
It's gangbanger stuff. You agree with me, right?
Are you talking about, like, rap and hip-hop and things like that? You know what? I totally, like, understand your protectiveness and everything like that, but I think you're going to be pushing him away. And if he sees you trying to have a drug test, and if that does happen and it comes out negative, he's going to not trust you because he's going to think that you're going to expect the worst of him, therefore he's going to do the worst.
I'm worried. I'm just worried. Do you have children?
And is he your oldest son?
Yes, he is, and I'm very terribly worried about him.
I know, but you know what? He's growing up. He's growing up. He's 13 now. He's a teenager. And I'm not saying that coming along with a teenager, he should be doing all the wrong things that come along with, you know, the teen life. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what happened the other day? And I knew it was a sign that he was losing his innocence. And I excused myself. I had to go into my bedroom and I buried my face in the pillow. He asked me how he was born.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He asked me how it was that he was made.
And you were offended by that?
I buried my face in my pillow.
Was he asking you the facts of life?
I don't know what he was asking me. He said to me, Mother, how was I created? And I told you the story of the stork. And I said,
13-year-old boy, you're laying that stork story on him. You're going to have to start moving on from that, Bobby.
Yeah, you know what else, though? Kids are growing up a lot faster than they were, like, when you were growing up. They know things a lot earlier than when you were growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had sex education
I don't know if he's ready. I just don't know if he's ready.
They have sex education in 6th grade. He's probably been over this already. You know, he just wants to hear it from your point of view.
I just don't know if he's ready.
All right, hold the line. Thank you for your call. 13-year-old kid, he's asking how he was made. It doesn't seem that dark and moody to me. 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. But how do you protect your kids from these negative outside influences, particularly those that come online? There was a Child Protection Act having to do with online material that was blocked in court. We have a mother of a 13-year-old boy on the line. Her name's Bobby Dooley. Her son is Brendan Dooley. They live in Western Estates, and this boy has been exhibiting some bizarre behavior. I guess you're calling it behavior that you think is destructive, correct?
Well, Phil, I think that when your son begins to... Let me give you an example. I have 3 boys. I have bathed those children since they were babies. I carried them in my womb. I have given them their baths. My son, Brendan... It really is hard for me to say this, okay?
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
He does not want me to bathe him any longer. He says that he is too old. He says that...
Well, he's 13 years old.
Phil, I do not like the insinuation that it is not proper for a mother who carried that boy in her womb, not to be able to bathe her babies the way she did for so many years. My son, Brendan, is a good boy. I'm a good mother to you.
He's 13. I mean, he can bathe himself. You see, I'm not insinuating anything.
Well, I think I really resent the insinuation that there is something improper about a...
Yeah, but what if he what I'm saying to you, Bobby, is that he can bathe himself, okay? That
There is nothing improper. Whether he can bathe...
Is that some bitch pissing you off?
No, it's all right, dear.
Who is that?
That's my husband, Steve. He'll never stop being my baby, and there's nothing improper.
What's that son of a bitch doing?
There's nothing, dear.
Your husband is going to have to stop talking in the background, okay?
He said you have to stop talking in the background.
Oh, FM. I'm trying to get my thing.
I understand. There is nothing improper about a mother bathing a son.
Well, if I'm a 13-year-old boy, and I'm just, and I was at one time, my mother comes into the bathroom trying to bathe me, I think it's time you not.
Why not? Why can't I?
Because it's embarrassing to him.
Why is it embarrassing to him? Why? Answer that question.
Because he doesn't want his mother seeing him nude, I guess.
I gave birth to that boy, Phil.
I understand you gave birth to him, but bathing a 13-year-old boy it just...
I don't like your insinuation.
What is he insinuating now? Are you some kind of perv?
No, he's not saying that. My husband says that you're insinuating that I'm a perv, and I'm not.
I'm not insinuating that at all. I'm saying he's a little old to be bathed, okay?
I should be the one to determine when the bathing stops. I'm the mother. And I'm just heartbroken over it, that's all.
What's that son of a bitch trying to do to you? Is he pissing you off?
No, it's all right, Steve.
What, is your husband angry at me?
He's a little upset, yeah.
Well, I'm giving my opinion here, Bobby, and I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice.
That's all right. It's just you have to be a mother to understand.
All right, let's go to Los Angeles on KFI. Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I'm 14 years old, and I was just calling to tell the mother, Bobby, that I can relate to her son, and kids listen to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and just because Backstreet Boys spell their name the way that you wouldn't spell boys doesn't mean that they're...
But that's the whole
It's not a gang thing, and him being 13 years old, and you're bathing him, that could be kind of embarrassing, because I know when I'm in the bathroom, I don't want my mom just to walk in. It's like, hey,
Well, doesn't your mother bathe you? Doesn't your mama...
No, my mother does. When I was little, I started to bathe myself when I can be in the bathroom by myself. But he's 13 years old. You need to, let him walk a little bit ahead of you before you, Well,
you're rebelling then against your mother, aren't you?
I'm not rebelling.
Well, why won't you let your mother bathe you?
I respect my mom. I'm honest with my mom. I don't do drugs. My mom asks me a question about anything. I'm upfront and honest with her. I have no reason to lie. You're not trusting your son about anything. Let him listen to the type of music that he likes, and let him, bathe himself, and I'm guarantee you it'll be all right. I don't think your son is using drugs. You and your husband, I don't really know. I mean, what is it? Were you overprotective as a child? Is that why you're like this now?
No, darling, what we've done is we've sent off the first jar to the lab. And if it comes back clean, we'll probably urine test once a month. But what we're doing basically is I've told the boys that...
Isn't it dishonest going in after your son goes to the bathroom and dipping in?
With him.
Well, what is your name, darling?
My name is Tasha.
Tasha, I'm Bobby. I usually want young people to call me Mrs. Dooley, but you sound very intelligent and very mature for your age. And maybe that's one of the problems. You're listening to Backstreet Boys. You're not allowing your mother to bathe you. Do you see the connection? Do you see what's going on? Do you see what's going on?
No, I don't see what's going on.
Well, what's happening is you're rejecting your mother. You're listening to the gangster of Backstreet and the Boys.
Let me ask you a question. Do you let your son go out with his friends to the mall and things?
Oh, my God, no. Oh, my God, no.
Okay, why are you that overprotective? He's 13 years old. It's time for him to do things with his friend. He doesn't always need his mommy. Why are you having Woody Woodpecker at his party?
I beg your pardon?
Why are you having Woody Woodpecker at his party?
He's loved Woody Woodpecker since he was a boy.
He's 13 years old, Bobby. A young man of 13 no longer wants to see Woody Woodpecker, okay?
Yes, he wants to have music there. He wants to dance there.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to homeschool him.
Oh.
I really think so. And I think, Tasha, I think your mother would be well advised maybe to start talking to you about some of the
My mom talks to me every day. She comes in my room at nighttime before I go to bed. She says, Tasha, is anything on your mind? I say, no, it isn't. But
that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Tasha. That's a great
any questions to ask me, I am upfront and honest with her. You have to be upfront and honest with your son. If you're concerned about him doing drugs or anything, if you're concerned about any bad behavior, don't
discuss it with just you and your husband. Bring your son and ask him questions. You can't just do this behind his back.
But you see, your mother could have that discussion with you while she's bathing you.
While she's bathing me, that's not a good place to have the discussion.
Why not? It's a wonderful place to
It's not a wonderful place. What is wrong with you?
What are you trying to say to me? I don't understand.
I'm saying he's 13 years old. He is very well capable of getting a washcloth, getting some soap, and bathing himself. He doesn't need you there. Now, when he gets ready and go to bed, you can knock on his room door, go in and ask him questions. Tell him you're concerned about this, son. What is going on? You're not acting the same.
You sound very mature, and let me say this to you, okay? And I don't know whether I should bring this up with you or not. None of our boys are circumcised. Okay. Well, what that has to do with it is, I have to get in and scrub them.
Okay. Over the line. Over the line. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't. But I want you to understand why I need to bathe the boys.
I understand about that. When he's little, if the child is not circumcised, you have to clean him in that area. He's 13 years old. He's very well capable. I think that he's capable of cleaning himself.
Can you hold on for a minute? What is it, honey?
I got that first jar of urine.
Okay, back it off to the laboratory.
Yeah, the first jar of urine. Okay.
Oh, my husband just got the first jar of urine out of the bathroom.
Oh man, that is so bad. I mean, you're only going to make your son suspect you and not trust you. You're going behind his back.
He's really not going to trust you. When he gets 18 years old, I guarantee you, he is probably at school always saying, "Oh my God," to myself, "Why does my mom do this to me? Why does my mom do this to me?" When he gets 18, he's not going to.
Why are you listening to Bobby Brown? I don't know what's going on. It scares me. It scares me.
Who scares you?
Hold on for a minute. Brendan, honey.
What, Mom?
Don't remember not to flush. Brendan.
What is she doing right now?
I don't know.
Ma'am?
Brendan.
On the radio, Grandma. What's your name?
Don't flush, okay? Remember, Mommy doesn't want you to flush this time, okay?
All right, I'll do it, Mom.
I had to tell my son he went into the bathroom.
Yeah, we heard everything. You're telling him not to flush. All right, ma'am. Lady in Los Angeles, I appreciate your phone call.
Okay, thanks.
1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County.
I got that first jar of urine right now.
Okay, pack it on.
Wait, would you tell your husband to quit talking in the background, too? Because it's beginning to bother me a little bit.
We just have to, we're looking at a stool sample right now.
Holy Jesus, lady. You're going to make your son not trust you. And if you don't want your son to trust you, continue with this behavior.
We have to protect our son, Mr. Henry, even if you're not willing to protect your own children.
It's got nothing to do with me.
We have to protect our son, and we will. I can assure you, we're not going to allow an out-of-control culture to pollute our children and to turn them into people that we don't want them to be. We have to protect our children from predators, and especially from these individuals I think are not so. What is this? Is this a pot seed?
I think he's eating pot.
Oh, Jesus H.
Do you want to take care of some business with your husband?
No, my husband's just showing me some things.
Carl's bad on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
This lady is either pulling your leg or she needs some serious help.
Ma'am, I'm talking about my 13-year-old boy.
No, lady, you are. Put it this way: your son is going to turn out like Norman Bates if you don't let go a little bit.
I don't let
If anybody, no.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
You need help. I'm sorry.
What am I doing?
Are you pulling Phil's leg?
I am talking about my 13-year-old son here, who is at risk.
You know,
you understand?
No, he is at risk. He is at risk of absolutely just breaking free. I mean, if I were your son, I would grab a hold of any way.
What am I doing that's so wrong? What am I doing that's so wrong?
You're bathing him at the age of 13. You're grabbing a jar of urine out of the toilet.
I'm protecting my son, Mr. Henry, from things that have very serious consequences in his life.
Your son sounds like a wonderful kid, and you sound like, you have the best of intentions. Your son wants to wear dungarees, which nowadays are called jeans. I think you need to get on the Internet. I think you should use this tool, which, I'm sorry, it is a valid tool. And you should learn. You should talk to other people. Find out what's going on with other parents. Get into a support group.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just so scared. I'm so scared.
I know.
You're out of control. What's going on here is you're out of control. You got to get your emotions in check. You got to back off. You got to have some faith. You have some faith in this boy. You got no faith in this guy. Did you raise him well?
Of course. Of course I raised him well.
Well, then you got to have some faith in him, okay? Right, ma'am? There in Carlsbad?
Oh, yes. You know, I really think she's pulling your leg because I don't think anybody could live this long with blinders on.
Mr. Henry, she turned her radio up.
I heard her turn the radio up. She turned it down.
You're not supposed to turn your radio up.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, lady. But you know what?
He doesn't want to go to church with us anymore. I believe he's taken up masturbation.
Oh, you know what?
Okay.
Good. He needs to. He's 13.
Thank you.
If he thinks he came from the stork, lady, if he thinks he came from the stork, he's got to learn. He should probably get onto any porn site he could get onto because you know what? He's got to learn the truth from you.
I'm going to pray for you.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Going to get on any porn site.
Okay, that was taking it too far. I agree. You know what this child needs? This child needs you to sit down and tell him the truth about life. Because he's going to learn it from people who...
That Mommy will be upset if you flush.
Okay, lady?
Ma'am, get back to the phone and back to what we're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Lady.
Yes.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
This child needs to learn the truth from you, or he will learn. He'll probably learn the wrong choices and the wrong things. That's exactly right.
He is going to be hungering for truth, thirsting for the truth, and if he doesn't get it from you, then he's going to find it someplace else where maybe it's not exactly the truth, where maybe it's interwoven with lies, where maybe there's a lot of propaganda associated with it. That's where kids really get their heads messed up, okay? Thank you for your call tonight, ma'am. I appreciate it. Hold the line, Ms. Dooley. Phil Hendry Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. We're talking with Bobby Dooley.
Honey, don't flush.
Will you please? We're on the air right now.
That asshole one now.
He's telling me not to tell Brendan to flush.
I'll tell him to screw off.
Would you please tell your husband that I can control what I'm saying here? You know, that I don't need his advice.
He says he doesn't need your advice.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't know his asshole on the ground. Don't flush, Brennan.
Put her on hold, okay? You got to get this caller under control here, Jonah, or I will. If you understand, Ms. Dooley, I have Bobby Dooley on the line from Western Estates. She's talking about her 13-year-old son, that I cannot talk to you and your husband at the same time.
I'm sorry, Phil. I apologize for that. We are, my husband was showing me, basically, we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 or 5. I'm just telling him we have about 4 jars of Brendan's urine right now. We've packed off 1, and we just keep some in reserve.
What do you have?
We keep about 4 jars of Brendan's urine in reserve, so that we have 1 fresh to send to the lab every week, and that way we don't have to wait for him. And this is something parents should know. If your children flush for whatever reason, if they forget and they flush too often, you'll have a backup of a urine backup in sending it off to the drug test lab. We use a lab called Dugan Med Labs, and they can give you a 48-hour turnaround on that. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. We freeze it in Tupperware.
I got another one over here, too.
All right, thank you. My husband had another one, too.
So what are you doing? You've got it frozen?
I'm sorry?
You have 4 jars of your son's urine frozen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is there? I'm talking about saving my son's life, Mr. Henry. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just trying to figure out the method here. So you're drug testing your son?
Yes, we are drug testing our son.
All right.
It's right beside the soup bones right here in the freezer. Here, put it here.
You put your son's urine in the freezer next to the soup bones.
I'm sorry?
Never mind. Here is San Diego on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi. I have
You say you have stepchildren, Mr. Henry?
Yes, I do.
My God.
What's that supposed to mean?
I really think that you need to be more vigilant.
Yeah, ma'am, what is your question? Lady in San Diego?
Oh, hi. Hello, hi.
Yeah.
I have several points to make, actually. First of all, she has the urine in the refrigerator.
In the freezer, yes.
Do you know what kind of bacterial infections can go into your food because you're doing that?
It's frozen.
Either case, either way.
Well,
if something ends up seeping out of there,
you're wrong.
You could have a lot of serious infections or contamination of your food.
Tupperware.
And also...
2 words, Tupperware.
Well, you never know. You know how small bacteria can be, what they can seep through?
I hear you have to see it with a microscope. Is that true?
Yes, I'm a microbiology major at UCSC, so I have a lot of background in this.
Can you see it with a naked eye?
No, you can't, but it can do a lot of harm to you, though. It can do much more harm. It's a little thing,
but
it
can... What does it look like?
Oh, well, it depends on what type of bacteria it is. There's all sorts of different sizes and shapes. But, yeah, so I just thought I'd tell you that for one thing. And also, you know, we're living right now in a society that's constantly changing. And
is there big bacteria?
Excuse me?
Is there bacteria big enough to see? Really, really big?
Some, yes. Some are big enough where you can see.
You can see it with your eyes?
Yes.
Well, I don't see any in there right now.
Well, maybe this...
What are you talking about bacteria, this woman, for?
She's a biologist.
What does she know?
See what she's talking to me about. Go ahead.
So, as I was saying, ma'am, I just think it's completely absurd. Children go through different stages in life, all the way from when they're born to when they're in college. And parents have to adapt to these changes in their personalities.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
If you're a biologist, this last batch of urine has an overly yellow tint. Is that a sign of marijuana use?
No, I wouldn't be able to tell you, Ma'am. I don't want to say anything that's not accurate. Urine can be either very dark or light for very many different amounts of reasons. It doesn't have to necessarily be that.
Why is it about how come it's clear when I drink beer?
What?
Why is it clear when I drink beer?
My husband wants to know why it comes out clear after he drinks a lot of beer.
I have no idea. It has something to do with the kidneys.
She doesn't know.
Jesus Christ, what the hell she do?
She's a biologist.
You know a goddamn thing about nothing, does she?
Well, I don't know.
Well, so as I was saying, parents have to adapt to their children's changes when they're teenagers.
School in San Diego or something like that.
When they start dating.
Would you tell your husband to be quiet?
They want you to be quiet.
So the parent has to go along. And I understand a mother wants to protect their children, wants to make sure they're fine, but there's a limit to how far you can go.
Well,
and if you become too overprotective, you cross that line. What's going to happen when the day that he turns 18 and he wants to leave that house because he feels like he's been enclosed?
She says, what is going to happen when Brendan turns 18 and he feels enclosed?
I'm not feeling enclosed. You want to turn into a man, you're not doing that drugs.
My husband says that he won't be doing drugs and he'll be kept away from those influences.
So like I said, there's a limit to how far you can go to protect your kids. After you cross that limit, you're starting to hurt them. You're not helping him anymore.
I got another question I want to ask.
What?
Ask her how come it is when I wake up, the first thing I do is pee.
My husband wants to know why it is that when he wakes up, the first thing he needs to do is urinate.
Because he's been sleeping all night and fluids have accumulated that have been already processed, so he needs to go to the bathroom.
You need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, because before I go to the bathroom, I take a leak. So how come I got a leak when I wake up?
He says before he goes to bed, he takes a...
Will you get your husband out of there?
Well, what, do you know why, ma'am?
Well, because he's been sleeping all night, so he hasn't urinated for a period of up to 8 hours, so of course everything's going to accumulate.
I wasn't drinking in my sleep.
He says he wasn't drinking in his sleep, so how could...
No, but he drank before he went to sleep.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I took a leak before I went to sleep.
He says he took a leak before he went to sleep.
But the urine that accumulated through the night was the urine that had not gone through his kidneys before he went to sleep.
Okay. Oh, you're pretty smart for a chick.
My husband says you're very intelligent.
Well, thank you very much.
And he really appreciates it.
Now, will you tell him to shut up?
The host says to shut up.
I told him to kiss my ass.
So, like I
heard
saying,
that.
You have to adapt to your child. Your child is going to keep changing. And
how come it's clear?
Steve,
ask her how come it's clear.
My husband wants to know how come it's clear.
I have no idea.
He doesn't know.
God damn, I'll say. I hope I don't have no kidney disease.
Well, he should go to the doctor if he's concerned.
What do you mean he hopes he doesn't have kidney disease like Walter Payton?
He got a damn kidney around.
He says he has a kidney?
No, Walter Payton has a liver. And tell him to shut up, okay?
The host wants you to shut up.
Kiss my ass.
Are we done here? I've lost complete control. Hello, ma'am?
Yes?
Are we done here?
No,
I appreciate it. I'm
peeing right now. I see it's yellow.
My husband
So,
says
ma'am?
he's taking a leak right now, and it's yellow.
Good for him, okay? Trying to talk to the caller.
So like I was saying, you know, what happens when he goes away to college? What happens when other kids tell him things at school that he doesn't know about? I mean, if he doesn't learn things from you, he's going to learn them from somebody else.
Well, you know something? We can go up for weekends and visit him and bathe him. We can go up and...
Ma'am, you don't bathe people in college. I'm in college. My mom is not going to come bathe me. That is not right.
Baby. You're her baby.
That doesn't matter. Like I said, there are stages in life.
Woman? Why
are you going to feed him too?
I beg your pardon?
Are you going to feed him too?
I cook him his favorite meals, yes. Why can't I scrub my boy down?
Because it's just not... appropriate. It's not normal.
I don't like what you're insinuating. There is nothing salacious at all in this.
Oh, I'm not saying there's anything...
I've got a wonderful loofah that he enjoys. I can scrub him down real good.
Why he can do that himself. He needs to learn how to do it himself. He needs to be independent.
Yeah, it's still yellow. Tell her it's still yellow.
What?
Tell her I'm peeing and it's still yellow.
My husband says his urine's still yellow.
Tell your husband to drop dead, okay?
I heard that, asshole.
He says he heard that, Phil. Listen, soft scrub
He needs to be independent also.
Soft scrub does wonders on the foreskin. It really does.
Okay, fine, I agree. We'll have him do it himself.
Well, he just doesn't know how.
My wife scrubs the foreskin better than I know.
How is it that a 13-year-old
Yeah, I heard
can't
what he
learn how to scrub himself? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
That is completely ridiculous.
Tell that asshole host take a break.
My husband says you need to break, Mr. Henry.
I'll break when I want to break, okay? And tell your husband to quit talking about scrubbing. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your call.
Now, what's going to happen is your kid is going to grow up
KFI
very...
Los Angeles. More stimulating talk radio. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, your kid is going to grow up not knowing a lot of things, or maybe he's a judge. He's going to learn through other people. And he's going to keep a lot of secrets from you because he knows the way you are.
Talk radio.
Road rage can be something that is the result of these small frustrations out on the highway, out on the freeway, that develop into a all-consuming rage that can be very destructive, sometimes even deadly. And there is a booklet out that has been put out by the Levetta Driving Academy here in Los Angeles. On the line with us is their senior driving instructor, Brad Rifkin, who is going to talk to us about road rage and how you can keep those small hassles that we all encounter every day driving from turning into something that is so destructive that we do something deadly. And we all get frustrated in traffic, right, Mr. Rifkin?
Oh, there's no doubt, Phil, that people get frustrated in traffic. There's no doubt that we all get angry. But allowing that anger to spiral out of control where you become enraged and you might do something to hurt people around you, or most importantly, and usually the case, to hurt yourself, we need to keep that from happening. We're living in a high-pressure society. We more and more find ourselves with more and more cars on the freeway and on the highways, and we have to deal with the slights and the insults and the things that we perceive each day.
And a lot of these things that we see, whether it's being cut off in traffic or whatever, we take very personally, don't we?
Seems to be the way human beings are constructed. We can't think rationally and realize that whatever that individual did, however stupid that person may be, and however dangerous the driving habits may be, they're not singling you out per se. They're just conducting their lives and business as drivers as usual. So if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. What we have attempted to do with our booklet is to put into a matter-of-fact, straightforward layman's language things that you can do to untie that initial knot that could lead to road rage. If you are upset now and you allow that to bother you and continue to bother you, then it could turn into a road rage condition, could turn into something where you get more and more enraged. And the purpose of making people aware of this is to stop it when it begins. So that it doesn't become a destructive situation, and that is our primary concern.
So, in other words, if I'm just moderately upset at the behavior of somebody, if I don't do something about it, it gets worse.
Well, we think, yeah, if you don't have the ability to rationally, to sort of rationalize away what has occurred, if you are not going anywhere in particular and you allow something to really gnaw on you and grate on you, yeah, it can become all-consuming. Your anger turns to rage. It becomes very destructive. And so if you could do things that provide a release valve or an escape valve for those emotions right as the anger begins, then you keep that road rage situation from occurring in your own emotional state. And most importantly, you feel better as you're driving your car. It's the last place you want to be angry is inside of your car.
All right, the booklet here, this is called Dealing with Road Rage, has a number of different driving scenarios, being cut off. Here's one here that you wrote about being blocked in. I think a lot of people have experienced at one time or another this sort of stacked parking situation.
That one, Phil, is not specifically dealing with stacked parking. It's dealing mostly with people who will double park or people who will park in an area where they shouldn't and thus impede the flow of traffic in and out of a parking lot. For instance, the scenario that we paint in the booklet is being blocked in. If you're parked in a parking space and someone pulls their car in behind you at a perpendicular position, because this is something that I think has occurred to many people who are in a store, somebody can't find a parking space, so they will park behind that individual. What we have recommended, there's a lot of different things you can do. If you can't get them to move the car, and that individual's car is parked behind yours, very, very gradually and very, very slowly, so that it is not noticeable, and so it won't be as glaring an act as it might be. You back your car up. All right, if you have nowhere to go, you back your car up, because you're going to be stuck there until that person comes out.
Absolutely.
Back your car up very, very slowly, almost undetectably, if you can do that. When you feel contact with that individual's car, then give it a little bit more gas so that you have bent in or you have collapsed the quarter panel on that person's car or the car door. Okay? That, in and of itself, is a release. It is slightly destructive, but it's not anything that is going to cost that individual too much money. You can get a quarter panel hammered out at just about any body shop, but it's given you the necessary emotional release that you need to express that anger for being blocked in.
All right, so we're talking about a car that is parked perpendicular to the rear end of your car.
That's correct.
And you back your car out, you say the purpose for backing out slowly is what?
So that you're not doing an inordinate amount of damage to that individual's car. The goal, and keep in mind what the goal is, if someone has blocked you in, and you are angry about that, the goal is not to let that anger turn into rage. And the goal is also not to create so much damage that it is serious or noticeable. So you slowly back your car out of that parking space, very slowly, until you feel that first initial contact with that individual's car. Once you feel that contact, and this is very important if you listeners at home are taking any notes, once you feel that contact, then give it just a little bit more gas so that the back fender of the back bumper, I should say, of your car now collapses in or bends in the quarter panel on that person's car. So it could be the front quarter panel, it could be the passenger side or the driver's side door, or it could be a rear quarter panel. You bend that quarter panel is very easily popped back into place. So you've bent it in, you've allowed yourself to have that little bit of anger release, you've created a little bit of damage to that individual's car, but it's not so bad as to not be able to just have it popped out and hammered out at a body shop.
So what the end result is, you've backed your car out, very slowly bending it in. You've got a bent-in quarter panel there, a bent-in car door.
That's right. And anybody, you can walk around this city and see it on any given day. You'll see the quarter panel, the front panel, the side door, something like that.
Now, keep in mind, this is illegal, correct?
Phil, I'm not sure if it is or not. It's not causing more than $500 worth of damage to somebody's car, which is a technical limit for hit and run. It could be explained away as something that was an accident.
But, I mean, technically it's illegal, isn't it?
You know something, I don't have an answer to that. Technically, it could be, it might not be. I don't know. But I do know this. You're not causing so much damage to that person's car that they can't have that quarter panel, that door panel popped out. You see what I'm saying? So you're risking something. I mean, if there was a police officer observing that, what would you say? Well, you could certainly say, well, this individual was parked behind me. I wasn't aware of how far away they were. There's a lot of different ways you can explain this to a police officer. And because you're not going that fast, because you're going very, very slowly, and you feel that initial contact, you could easily explain this to a police officer as something that's entirely an accident, if indeed it is observed. If it's not observed, you move your car back into place, and they don't know who did it. All right, and that is the key, Phil. Once you've collapsed that quarter panel in, once you've bent that car door in, move the car back into position in the parking lot and sit there and wait. And there is a very, very, very good chance that that individual will not see that damage until they've gotten home because they're in a hurry.
All right, with us is Brad Rifkin talking about how to deal with road rage. He's from the La Venta Driving Academy. And rather than allowing yourself to be enraged by the stupidity of other drivers, they have prescribed, they should say, a variety of things that you can do to let a little bit of that anger out. Maybe do just a little bit of damage to the other individual without harming them in any serious way. And in point of fact, this guy's talking to me about here could be illegal. I don't know, but he doesn't seem to think it is. In this instance where you're backing your car and pushing the car door in, that's damage. However, he seems to think it could be easily explained away. Our number, 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Phil Hendry Show here on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Phil Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, the Phil Hendry Show at 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. We're talking about how to keep normal anger in traffic or normal anger in automotive situations from turning into road rage with Brad Rifkin, who is the senior driving instructor at Lavenda Driving Academy. One of these situations in this booklet that has been printed by Lavenda is if a car blocks you in. And we're talking if a car is sideways to your car, parked, you're backing it out and caving in the guy's quarter panel, right?
Well, you're not caving it in exactly, Phil. What you're doing is very slightly bending that quarter panel in, right?
And that is not hit and run.
No, it's not, because you're not leaving. What we recommend is that once you have backed the car up against that automobile, you've collapsed in that quarter panel, then you move your car back into place, the parking lot.
And the thought being that they're not going to notice?
The thought being, if somebody's double parked behind you that way, they're in a big hurry, and the last thing they're going to be noticing is any dent in your car, and they'll be out of it. One thing is, you're going to have to sit and wait. But the good side is, you got some of that anger out by collapsing or denting that car without causing a great deal of damage.
All right, here is Encino on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, your guest Brad Rifkin's an idiot. I mean, what happens if the guy comes out? What happens when the guy comes out and he notices the damage?
Well, if he notices the damage, he's going to have to. First of all, he's going to have to prove that you did it. And if you're sitting in
201 KFI Orange County, 5201 KFI in LA County, Laverne on KFI. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, is this Phil?
Yeah.
Hey, I got to ask this guy. Well, first of all, what if you get caught? How is that going to help your road rage?
You're not getting caught. The chances of getting caught are very, very slim.
No, they're actually very good. But what if you do?
Good, because if you're still sitting there, it's not hit and run.
Yeah, but if you do get caught, not only do you got to pay for it, you chance going to jail. So how is that going to help your road rage? You're going to be even more upset.
Tell me how you're going to get caught.
You're going to get caught because, first of all, somebody could witness it.
Well, somebody could witness it, right. But by the same token, if you are sitting there in the parking lot and you haven't gone anyplace, you got a guy sitting there saying, well, this guy couldn't have done it because anybody who's going to hit me is going to run. And that's the way it is 9 times out of 10.
So you have to look around and make sure there's no witnesses, right?
Absolutely, of course. But the point is that what you're doing is you are inflicting a minimum amount of damage in this guy's car. It's not anything over $500. You can bend that out at any body shop, as I was saying. And by the same token, you are getting out a lot of that anger. You move yourself back in your parking space, and nobody's any wiser. I'll give you another example, Phil, from our book, and we're talking here about people that cut you off in traffic, okay? And this is something that doesn't cause any damage, but it gets a little bit of that anger out. If someone cuts you off in traffic, all you have to do is follow that car and blink those brights on and off. What you're doing when you're blinking your lights on and off is you're letting them know that you disapprove of that behavior in traffic. You're not even touching their car in that instance, but you're blinking those lights on and off.
Are you in the guy's rearview mirror? I mean, are you tailgating?
No, you're not tailgating necessarily, but you're right on that guy's tail. You're blinking those lights on and off, and you're giving that guy your feeling about it. You're expressing your anger about that situation.
That is being cut off in traffic, so you're not exactly damaging the guy's car.
You're not touching the guy's car, but you're letting that person know that you're angry. And that's what you do, blinking the lights on and off, blinking the brights on and off. You let that guy know that in his wake, as he moves on into the night or into the daytime, wherever he's going, that there's somebody very, very angry, and he's going to feel very chastised. We reprimand children. We reprimand people who don't don't behave the way they should. Show him who's boss. That's what we're talking about. Before you let it get into road rage, show him who's boss.
All right, Pasadena on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi. Look, that is road rage. It doesn't matter how slowly you bump the guy's car. It's road rage.
No, road rage is when it turns deadly, when people are getting shot, when people are getting hurt.
That's how it starts.
In the quarter panel on some guy's car is not an expensive thing. You have to understand.
That's exactly how it starts. People don't go out driving planning to kill people.
These are solutions so that you don't get angry to the point of killing somebody.
That's the way people express their anger. They flash their headlights.
Well, what is the definition of road rage? Isn't it violence?
That's exactly right. Violence. It's about inflicting violence.
If you're not carrying a gun, you're still engaging in road rage. You're flashing your lights at people. You're making the situation worse.
You know what? I'll give you. It may be road rage, but it's not destructive. And what we're talking about is destructive behavior, not engaging in destructive behavior.
That's what builds to destructive behavior. You're not preventing it full of guns.
This is constructive behavior. And when these individuals, when you let this out, you're not damaging the guy's
quarter panel in.
Oh, you cave his quarter panel, and you could go to any body shop and get that hammered out inside of 30 minutes.
And for what? $800. You're costing them money. You're making them angry.
In fact, it might even cost.
Somebody's car is going to cost him money to fix it, and he's going to be angry.
It's not going to cost him anything more than certainly not going to cost enough to go to the insurance company with. That's for sure.
Well, hey, you haven't had any.
You know what you can do? If you got a caved-in quarter panel, you could take a regular old rubber bathroom plunger and pull and pop that dent out.
Hey, you cannot do it with a car. No.
Yeah, believe me, I've been around automobiles my whole life.
You've been around junk cars then. They have Mondo all over them.
And they should consider it the penalty they pay for driving incorrectly. Okay, and they should consider it the penalty they pay for double parking behind somebody.
I can see your argument, but you're telling people to avoid road rage. And you're using road rage as a solution.
For example, we've had a number of people who went to our driving academy, a number of people who have conducted themselves this way. Here's an example, for instance, if somebody really makes you angry, whether they cut you off, whether they tailgated you, whatever.
You drop back and you just let it go.
I can tell you one thing you can do to scare them, and it will be completely safe. You can put your hand in a paper bag. If you keep a paper bag next to you on the seat, on the passenger side seat, you put your hand in a paper bag and you raise it up to the window as if you have a gun. You do not have a gun. You know you don't have a gun.
This is ridiculous. The person thinks they have a gun, he's going to do something drastic. He's either going to...
You know what he's going to do? He's
got two choices.
Leave you alone.
He can swerve to get out of the way, which might cause an accident, or he can pull out a real gun and fire.
No, he won't pull out a real gun. Not when you got the drop on him like that. No guy's going to pull out a real gun when he's already got a gun pointed at him, okay?
But you're not saying they have a real gun.
No. You have your hand in a paper bag. This is a safe, non-violent way of showing your disapproval of the driving technique. Believe me, and it helps.
All right, but these are just unsafe techniques, wouldn't you say?
No, I'm not saying they're unsafe, Phil. I'm saying that they are good anger releases so that you don't develop into having road rage.
All right, 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Phil Hendry Show here with Brad Rifkin from the Lavenda Driving Academy. We're talking about how to deal constructively with these little insults in traffic so it doesn't turn into road rage. Phil Hendry Show, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. And now Chris Little in the KFI News Center. All right,
sandwich, and we all got to take a bite.
Phil Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio, the Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. So what do you do when you're so angry in traffic that you're afraid it's going to turn into something more serious like road rage, which is deadly? With us is Brad Rifkin. He's the senior driving instructor with the Lavenda Driving Academy in Los Angeles. This little incident where someone might make you angry in traffic, putting your hand in a paper bag, seems like it could inspire a little bit of danger there. I mean, a little bit of confrontation, as one caller indicated, Brad.
Well, I don't think so, Phil, and I'll tell you why. Because what you're doing basically is you're telling them to back off. You do not have a gun. There is nothing in your hand that is deadly. All you have is your hand in a paper bag, but they don't know that. And when you put your hand into a paper bag, and I want all of you listeners out there to understand, when you have your hand inside of a paper bag, you know that you don't have a gun. But that individual that has made you angry, that has cut you off in traffic, that has tailgated you, or otherwise done something that was stupid, that has caused you to be concerned, he doesn't know. So when you raise your hand up, as you get alongside this person and you have your hand in a paper bag, he doesn't know what you got in your hand.
And is this illegal?
I don't believe it is, because there's no gun, you have no deadly weapon, you couldn't possibly hurt that person with a paper bag, obviously, but you're just giving him a little message, back off of me. I'm a little bit angry. I'm a little bit tired. I don't need your stuff in my face today. Here's another example. People who are lingering at green lights oftentimes give us that first initial feeling of anger that we might have that might well spill off into the rest of the day. What you do with an individual who is sitting at a green light, okay, and we've all experienced this before, Phil. I'm sure you have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if the light turns green and the guy's sitting there?
Absolutely. You move your car, and again, you have to be very, very slowly. I don't think honking the horn gives you the release that you need. And a lot of people lean on the horn, and they think it gives them a little bit of a release. The best thing to do with an individual like that, again, very slowly, move your car up, tap the individual's bumper. Once you've tapped that person's bumper, then you nudge him out into traffic. Now, if he's got his car in gear, even if he's got his foot on the brake, once he feels that initial push from behind...
Well, what are you doing? You're pushing him out into the intersection?
That's what you... Yes, essentially that. You're pushing him out into the intersection. You push him out there so that he gets the message that you're upset. You're able to release, again, Phil, you're able to release that instantaneous...
All right, so hold on for a minute. I'm behind the guy... You give him a little bit of a nudge.
We call it the green light nudge. What you're doing is you're giving him a nudge out into traffic, or out into the intersection to tell him, hey, get it moving. Let me tell you a little story, a little secret that we've learned over many years working as driving instructors and working in the automotive field. Most individuals driving cars are not really aware of these intricacies concerning the legality. If you push a guy out into traffic, he may think that you have just hit his car. But if you keep going, he's not going to do much about that. In other words, if you pull over, and most traffic accidents come to a reasonable conclusion when people pull over. But if you nudge that guy out, or you give him what we call the green light nudge, and push him out into the intersection, and basically say to him, wake up, and then you move along and go along your merry way, you're not going to get into the problems, because 9 times out of 10, that guy's not going to really try to flag you down. See, I've been involved... I have to be honest with you. I was involved in a road rage incident once in my life, and ever since then, I've tried to come up with solutions, that I don't have to have any run-ins with cops. That's the number one problem you got is cops. All right? And these are the solutions that I come up with so you don't have to deal with a cop, but you can still express your anger.
Well, what road rage incident were you involved in, if you don't mind me asking?
I got very angry, and I ran a guy off of a road once, off of a very steep embankment, about 100 feet down. And it is something that...
Is he alive? Is he dead?
He's fine. My understanding is he's fine. I did not stop for him. I kept on driving, but I did keep tabs on that.
Well, the guy made you so angry you ran him off a cliff?
I got angry. It was on a two-lane highway in the desert one evening, and it was coming down from Palm Springs on into the Anza-Borrega Desert, and I got upset with this guy. He cut me off, so I pushed him off a cliff. And the last thing I saw was the car it was going down. It was going down about a 100-foot embankment, but my understanding is the guy's okay, because I went back about a half hour later, and I didn't see anything. There were no cop cars there. There was no ambulance there, and the guy's car was gone. So I would have to assume that I pushed him down the cliff, and he was able to take off into the desert as if...
Well, I mean, so you pushed this guy down a 100-foot cliff, and he just kept on driving?
As far as I can tell, I don't know. But what I'm saying is I don't think that the guy...
That is a story.
Well, ever since that happened, though, Phil, I've tried to come up with constructive ways of dealing with this.
All right, Brad Rifkin with us here talking about road rage. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Irvine on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi. I'd like to advise Brad that in California, it's a felony to make a threat with the intention of inspiring fear. Even if you have no intent of carrying through on the threat, even if you don't have a weapon.
I don't think you're right about that.
I'm admitted to practice law in California, and you...
Well, that's fine, but I still think you'd have a case either way. You have to understand that I'm a certified senior driving instructor. I know what's going on out there on these highways.
Certified by whom?
How to advise by the Levetta Driving Academy, by my company.
I've never heard of the Levetta Driving Academy.
I've never heard of you, but that doesn't mean neither one of us exist. You see what I'm saying? What I'm basically saying is that you are not pointing a gun. You're pointing a paper bag at somebody.
I understand that. Okay, I'm understanding that you, Brad, are quite possibly committing a felony by advocating this on the air.
No, you're wrong about that. Where'd you go to law school?
Pardon me?
Where'd you go to law school?
UCLA, top 10%.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you know your law, pal. I think you got to go back to school.
Brad.
All right.
That'll be $250, please.
I tell you what you do. If I'm committing a felony, then why don't you have a cop arrest me, okay? Lawyers. Let me tell you a little bit about lawyers. There's a lot of guys that claim they're lawyers. A lot of guys claim that they're not or whatever. They don't necessarily know the law. Because you call yourself a lawyer doesn't necessarily make you a guy knowledgeable about the law.
Well, he seemed to be quoting a law about making a threat.
No, he's not quoting any law. And he says if I'm committing a felony, he can have me arrested. I could give a crap. I know about lawyers. I had a public defender for my case. Lawyers they're good people. Some of them good, some of them bad. I'm not one of these guys that bashes lawyers. I just know that some are good, some are bad. Some guys talk out of their ass, and some guys don't.
All right, we're talking with Brad Rifkin here about road rage, though. We're not necessarily talking about lawyers.
No, I just wanted to bring that up, Phil.
Okay, 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in LA County. All right, we have the green light nudge when you push a guy out into the intersection. You have what you call this paper bag thing where you're putting your hand in a paper bag just to scare somebody off.
I mean, some lawyers piss me off a little bit. I'm experiencing a bit of, just after that guy's call, I'm kind of pissed off right now.
Well, what would you be angry about? If you're right and he's wrong, you're right and he's wrong, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I just, pisses me off the guy would challenge me. But anyway, yeah, so getting back to what we're talking about, there are a lot of different things. Let me give you an example. Nothing pisses me off more when I'm driving home or when I'm driving anywhere than to see some guy zip by me doing about 10 or 20 miles over the speed limit. Nothing pisses me off more than that. And I devised a way of getting rid of that initial anger without it turning into road rage. And here's what you do.
This is when you're driving along and a guy is just zipping by you, obviously breaking the speed limit.
Obviously breaking the speed limit, exactly. You drive up next to this guy, get up parallel to him. He may be doing a pretty good clip, maybe 90 miles an hour, so you're going to really have to chase him down. But you're not getting in behind him. You're getting up beside him. And this is one of my favorites. You roll your window down and start pointing to the rear of his car and moving your lips as if to say there's something wrong with the rear end of his car. Now, he can't see it. He can only see you pointing at the rear end of his car and talking in a very excited way. He has to assume there's something wrong with the back of his car. Maybe there's fuel leaking. Maybe he's got a muffler dragging. Maybe he's got a tire that looks like it's about to pop off. But I guarantee it works. When you pull up next to somebody pointing to the back of their car and just gesticulating very wildly, they're going to slow down and pull off and see what's wrong. Nothing will slow a guy down more than that. And I'm sure we've all had that.
Well, isn't that so? In other words, there's nothing really wrong with the car.
No, there's nothing wrong with the car, other than the fact that this guy has been speeding. Okay, you got this asshole going down the road at about 100 miles an hour, whatever, which is against the law. So you're pulling up and getting him to slow down. And I say, whatever it takes to slow somebody down, whatever it takes to get this numbnut into line and start driving like a white man instead of this.
Oh, whoa, okay?
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Just don't. That terminology is very, very offensive.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know, but you don't need with the driving like a white man thing, okay?
Well, Phil, what I'm saying is, by the way, if all else fails, get in front of him and hit your brakes if this guy's going too fast. But that's the essential point that I'm making.
All right, so you're driving up parallel to the guy and you're pointing to the back of his car like he's got something wrong with it.
Sure. And you're not doing anything to hurt him. What you're doing is you're getting him to slow down, to pull off the side of the road, and to take a look.
Brad Rifkin here with the pointers on how to eliminate road rage. He's with the Lavena Driving Academy, and he is a certified senior driving instructor with them. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Some of the stuff that he's talking about, how to get rid of anger so it doesn't build into road rage, is if somebody's blocking you in, you back up and you cave in a quarter panel of their car just enough so that they have to have it banged out at a body shop, but not enough so that it's going to cost too much money. They got the green light nudge where you push a guy out into the intersection when it turns green. He's had put a paper bag on your hand to pretend like you got a gun in it. And now this one where you come up parallel to a guy and point to the back of his car as if he's leaking fuel. This, according to Mr. Rifkin, so that you don't get even more angry than you already are. 1-800-5201-KFI Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Phil Hendry Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
H-I-C-O, go Chico.
Man, I can see that.
Bill Hendry.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Phil Hendry with Brad Rifkin taking some calls from people about road rage. The most recent, I should say, solution to anybody speeding. Did people speeding make you angry?
Oh, people speeding really makes me angry, Phil. I see them zipping by. I'm doing 55. I'm maybe doing 60. I'm well within the law. And here comes some asshole in his Porsche or in his Pantera or whatever. He's got his Corvette, and he thinks he's Danny Sullivan for the night. And nothing pisses me off than assholes like that. But I can tell you right now, you see some guy go by you in a Vet, and he may not be doing more than 70. If you can catch him, at least is enough to get parallel with this guy and point to the back of his precious little Vet. This guy's going to think, oh, my God, I'm leaking gas. Oh, my God, I'm leaking oil. Oh, my poor little Vet. He's going to pull off to the side of the road and spend at least 10 minutes looking to find what it was that you said was wrong. Meanwhile, you're well down the freeway, and that asshole's back there looking for what's wrong. It's beautiful.
All right, 1-800-5201.
What?
Well, some of your language is a little colorful.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be descriptive.
I understand that. 1-800-5201 KFI in Orange County, 5201 KFI in L.A. County.
I'll try to back it down a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Here's Burbank on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
You know, all of you get the solutions are causing more problems. I mean, you're going there, you're trying to speed to catch the guy. You're breaking a line by its own self.
Being after somebody. I mean, you know, you have to sometimes create that tension in order to relieve the situation.
All right, Riverside on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Rifkin, sir. I think you're crazy because you're out there breaking the law, sir. You're inciting people to make problems worse. I mean, you're not a peace officer to drive up and tell somebody to slow down or something like that. I don't understand what you're trying to do.
Look, I don't know. What do you drive?
What do I drive?
Yeah.
What is that? How is that relevant?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know if you know what it is I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. You know what I do when people are driving real fast by me?
I'm not really interested in what you do.
Well,
I'm telling you what we do.
Because you ought to do
what we do.
Because, you know,
what we do
what you do is you're the kind of person that causes accidents on the road.
It's jackasses that speed cause accidents.
No.
And I solved the problem.
No.
Okay?
Sir, you just admitted to me, sir.
Driving too fast.
You just admitted on public.
The guy that is going too fast, then you got to slow him down. Now, if there's no cop around there to give him a ticket, okay? You see, it is my ticket. Guys like you want to put your head in your sand or up your ass or wherever you
No, I don't think so.
You're the guys that just let the world go by with all of its problems. I go outside and solve the problems. Okay?
No, sir.
So what I do
Mr. Rifkin.
is I go out there and solve the problems. Yeah, what do you want?
Mr. Rifkin, you've already admitted on the radio show to causing an accident out in the desert. You don't know if that person was all right or not.
Situation.
How was it different?
It was an unfortunate situation. I go around now, I'm trying to cure the problem.
Well,
I was subject to the road rage. I can only hope, sir, that it was you that I ran off the road. Was it you?
No, it wasn't, unfortunately.
Damn it, that would have been great.
I know it would have, because you know what? I would call the police on you right now.
Oh, you call a big bad police on Brad?
I would. I surely would.
Well, you know what, pal?
You know why, sir?
You know, they'd have to find me first.
You know why?
You know, most of the people who call your show tonight, Henry, I'd like to run off the freaking road.
No.
You know that? Dumbasses and...
Well, you can run people off the road if you want, but I thought we were trying to solve the road rage problem.
Exactly, that's my point.
And if I pulled up next to a guy like this, and I got in the back of his car, and I said, hey, buddy, there's something wrong with your car, your ass would pull over. I guarantee it, wouldn't you?
No.
You wouldn't? So you know what I would do? What if gasoline was really leaking out of the back of your car?
You know what I would do?
What would you do? Let the car burn up?
No, I'd hit the gas pedal and leave you in my dust.
You know what would make, and with all the gasoline leaking out the back.
Sir, my car doesn't leak gas. I check it regularly.
It's seeing your head impaled on a light pole. I would be ecstatic.
Can you do any better than that?
Your head impaled on a freaking light pole would be fantastic. And what's left of your Simca or your little Miata, whatever it is that you drive, at the bottom of a freaking canyon, you son of a bitch.
Well, what are you upset about?
I hate this son of a bitch you're talking to right now.
What do you mean?
I don't like you, okay?
What's wrong with Tate? What's wrong with driving a 911 Porsche, man? I mean, you know, I don't drive a Corvette or a Miata. You got those wrong, but...
You drive a 911 Porsche and then you wake up. I hate you.
Well, that's nice. I mean, you can't...
All right, pal. Well, when you do buy a 911, give us a call, okay? 1-800-5201-KFI. Listen, we got a break. I mean, it's been a pleasure.
Well, Phil, these are things that you can do. So you... God damn it, I hate that son of a bitch I just talked to.
Mr. Rifkin?
What?
We're talking about road rage.
Yeah, we're talking about road rage, so I'm honking freaking mad, okay? That's the kind of guy I'd like to run off a cliff. I got to get going. I got to go hit somebody.
I thought we were talking about road rage.
I know, and how to get rid of it. Well, you know something? I can't get rid of it tonight. What I need to do is go out and do a green light nudge on somebody.
All right, well, go green light nudge somebody, all right, man? But don't kill anybody, okay?
I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
What, are you kidding?
I don't know. Let me find out whether it's legal or not.
Yeah. KFI Los Angeles, more stimulating talk radio.
Guys,
Phil Hendry.
KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Good evening, welcome to the Phil Hendry Show. Jay Santos from the Citizens Auxiliary Police is back with us tonight with a Y2K update. They have a preparedness kit entitled, and we don't want to frighten anybody. My understanding is there was a news story today. GTE apparently has sent some mailers out with their bills or with some kind of a mailer, GTE, giving people some ideas as to what to do to prepare for the possibility of a Y2K bug. This preparedness kit is called Y2 Nightmare, spelled with a K. Let's welcome Jay Santos from the Citizens Auxiliary Police. Tell us about the Citizens Auxiliary Police, first off, Jay, and then tell us about the... Let me get my notes here, too, so I'm making sure that we have everything here. You there, Jay?
I'm right here, Phil.
Okay, pardon me. I'm getting my notes. In any event, tell us about Citizens Auxiliary Police.
All right, Phil. Citizens Auxiliary Police is an organization, an ancillary organization to assist police agencies throughout Southern California with traffic control, some detention, some checking for safety checks, for instance, making sure that safety checks are done in the home within the car, making sure that the job of the police is a very big one, Phil, and whatever small jobs police can't get to, Citizens Auxiliary Police can do that. It's an entirely voluntary unit. We have some 200 officers throughout the Southern California area. We have helped with some manner of traffic control, as I mentioned, and some safety checking, as well as other things, such as in-home safety and far-reaching areas, such as this situation we're talking about tonight, which is the Y2K bug problem. If we can keep a problem from happening, if we can prevent problems from happening, then certainly that's about a very big part of the job that we have.
You're a commander with Citizens Auxiliary Police?
So my rank is commander with Citizens Auxiliary Police. We have substations in Hawthorne. We have one in Lancaster. We have 4 or 5 commanders and substations throughout the Southern California area.
All right. What is up now with this preparedness kit? Now, you guys have put this out, and it's not really a kit so much as a list of reminders.
That's correct, Phil. We are asking people to make sure that they are aware that we could have potentially a very disruptive event on January 1st, the year 2000. You've heard about it. People have talked about it in the news and whatnot, and magazines and so on and so forth. We think it's serious enough to take a good, long, hard look at this and make sure that you're prepared for any eventuality, whatever it might be.
You have a list of things that people will need, one of which, of course, is money, $200. We've heard about this before, that people would need money. Why?
The need for money, Phil, comes from a possibility of failure, bank failure, whether it be with automatic teller machines, whether it be with in-bank computers and transferring funds and wiring funds and so on. There is a very good possibility there could be some disruption. If you go to the bank on January 1st or January 2nd and you are not able to access cash, and you certainly don't have the ability to get any cash, and you don't have any cash on hand, and all you have are credit cards, there's a good possibility the credit card's not going to work either because, of course, they are uplinked by computer as well. And so if you don't have cash, then you are pretty much without any means of transacting business for a few days in the foreseeable future.
One thing I've always wanted to ask, how long is this supposed to last? If there is a computer failure, how long is it supposed to last?
So there's no way really of telling. It could last a few days, could last several weeks. We are certainly wanting people to prepare for the eventuality that something could happen that is a worst-case scenario. That's really what we're looking at the Citizens Auxiliary Police, a worst-case scenario situation where perhaps up to several days you don't have access to things that you're going to need. What we're doing with our preparedness kit, Y2 Nightmare spelled with a K, is to make sure that everybody is going to be taken care of and will not have a problem once January 1st. There's a lot of people who are sort of doomsaying this deal and saying it's going to be a bad situation. And what we're about, the Citizens Auxiliary Police, what we've always been about is saving lives and make sure people are safe in their homes.
All right, so $200 in cash. You're talking about a need for water. How many gallons of water?
We recommend about 10 gallons of water to get you through. There could be a shortage of water due to the fact that many of the municipal water supplies, water systems are regulated by way of computer program. And certainly if they're not Y2K compliant, on January 1st you could see a shutdown of water supply. We do recommend, of course, gasoline for the car is very important. Whether or not you have access to a local filling station or you know the people there is not really the case because, again, so many of the pumps and gasoline delivery is regulated by a computer program if they're not Y2K compliant. Generator is very important as well, Phil. Backup electricity.
All right, we've heard about this. Is this because of the generating stations as well? The electrical generating stations not being Y2K compliant?
That is correct, Phil. And also problems with electricity in the home, what has been called by some a Y2K burst, and that is that January 1st or some time thereafter you could get a Y2K burst where the Y2K virus is filtered through the system, the electrical system in your home. And if that is the case, it is going to download that Y2K virus, going to download into most of the systems in your home, electrical systems, etc. So you want to make sure you got a generator in case there is that electrical burst. There are some things you can do to keep that burst from happening. We do recommend unplugging most appliances and unplugging most clocks and anything that is on electricity from the wall.
And why is that? In other words, the day before the 1st of January?
Day before, 2 days before the 1st, right. Unplug everything. So if there is what is called a Y2K burst, or if that bug is downloaded through the electrical system in your home, that it does not infect any of the appliance or any of the computers that you might have in your home, as well as any other electrical outlets. There is an adapter that you can pick up. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Part of what we're doing with our Y2K Nightmare preparedness kit is making sure that people have some of these options. There are adapters and some other things that you can buy to try to keep this from happening. One of the important things is to make sure you got some backup systems. If there is no water, then no flushing toilets, you need some waste removal, night soil buckets, etc. Another important thing is if you got cable in your home, cable television, cable is one of the primary feeding arteries of the Y2K virus. That is that the cable could feed the Y2K bug down the cable line and have a profound effect on your television, stereo system, etc.
All right, let me just interrupt you for a moment, Jay. We're talking with Jay Santos of the Citizens Auxiliary Police about Y2K Nightmare, the Y2 Nightmare spelled with a K, preparedness kit. You're talking about the Y2K virus, a Y2K burst of electricity coming into the home on January 1st. You're also talking about the cable system?
That is correct, Phil. Cable system can be a conduit for this Y2K bug, and that is it can enter the home through the standard cable access, can seriously have a very profound effect on whether or not you've got a television transmission, whether or not you have a hi-fi stereo, etc., whatever these things are, computer, and that bug can get in through the cable system. So either you put an adapter of some kind on there. We can tell you a little bit about this adapter. It is a Y2K adapter that can be put into the wall. It can be, all of the appliances can be plugged into this socket. That way it can filter, and it does have an ability to filter out the Y2K virus as it's entering the home through the electrical system. You can do that. If you don't have that adapter...
Are you recommending that people unplug their cable?
Yes, absolutely, because, again, if you've got this Y2K bug, or what we call a Y2K burst that's coming through the electrical system in your home on the 1st of January, feeding not only through the electrical system but also through the cable system, it's going to have a profound effect on a lot of these appliances, on your computer, etc. And so what you need to do is make very, very sure you've got that cable unplugged, that the Y2K bug does not have access to your home. What we're trying to do is save lives here. We're trying to make sure that people have... See, I'm reluctant to panic people. I don't want to do that.
Well, what you're saying here sounds very serious if, in fact, it happens.
Very good possibility that it does happen, Phil. It doesn't have to be serious. It all depends on how people respond to it. It can be serious. It just depends on what you're going to do about it. But if you are not making the proper preparations, then you've got yourself a problem. It could have some very, very big problem, too. And that's why we put out this kit.
All right, Jay Santos with the Citizens Auxiliary Police. Our number 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County and 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Y2 Nightmare, spelled with a K, preparedness kit. Recommending $200 in cash, 10 gallons of water, gasoline for the car, a generator. If the toilets are not flushing, etc., you'll need some waste removal, night soil buckets, backup systems, get rid of cable, and unplug all appliances before these things, this Y2K bug can be downloaded into your home, correct?
Well, it's correct, Phil. One thing to mention, these problems can be solved with the Y2K adapter, which is a great solution. This is a $15 inexpensive socket plug or adapter that goes into the electrical outlet. You plug your appliances into that, and that will filter most of the destructive program that is going to come from the Y2K bug as it is beginning to filter and as it is beginning to download through your home. This is a 220 plug. It comes with 220 plug as well. We can install. It's very easy for you to install. You just put it into put it, as I said, right into the wall socket, and there you have. Another thing of concern, Phil, I think it's important. We have a videotape. For those of you who have satellite television, we're concerned now that, and I think there are a lot of people who have been talking about this, that the Y2K virus can be downlinked from satellites, communication satellite. If that is the case, and you do have satellite television, satellite dish, you're going to want to protect those components that are connected to your satellite dish, whether it be television, etc. And we have a videotape. It is like a VCR tape. It is like a head cleaning tape. And what it will do is clean a residual Y2K contaminant off of the heads. You might be concerned about this. Videotapes that you rent could not be Y2K compliant. And
are you talking about renting videotapes at a store?
If they're not Y2K compliant, it might affect one or another of a videotape. And just to give an example, kind of a funny example, you might be watching Mighty Ducks 2, and all of a sudden all the electricity in your home goes out because you've got a videotape there. Why not Y2K compliant? These are some of the things that we're trying to alert people to. I don't want to panic anybody, but by the same token, you've got to be aware of the fact that we've got ourselves a problem. And Citizens Auxiliary Police, we're about saving lives. We're about making sure that systems run and that the elements of our society are running and functioning on a normal level, and that's what we want to do.
All right, Jay, I'm listening and I'm watching and I'm waiting and I'm hearing and I've heard millions and millions and millions of things, and to a layman like me, it seems to be all very, very confusing, this Y2K bug. But in order to sort of sort some of this stuff out, that's why we have people like you on.
I appreciate it, Phil.
All right, 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Camarillo on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Yeah, I think this guy is crazy. He's paranoid.
Well, we're trying to save some lives here, ma'am. Have you heard of the Y2K bug?
Oh, yes, I have.
All right, then you're aware of a lot of the problems that it can cause.
And it's all hype.
It's all hype, huh? Why don't you ask the guys at JPL? Why don't you ask some of the people at GTE? Why don't you ask some of the people at the IRS who've been working for literally months and months trying to get their computers backed up?
You're crazy.
If it's all hype, then why are we hiring all these computer programmers? Why are they hiring so many computer programmers?
I'm going to tell you something. You're crazy.
Now, you can ignore the problem, ma'am, and that's your choice. You know, for those of you who take it seriously, then we have a solution.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just all...
Well, if somebody just doesn't flat believe that it exists...
Somebody doesn't believe it exists, but you don't have to believe anything.
Well,
and that's fine. And I'm not going to try to get this lady to believe something she doesn't want to believe. But when it happens, she's
paranoid.
She's going to remember we had this conversation.
Can you listen?
Do you have a family?
Yes, and this is what...
Do you love your family?
Will you listen?
Well, do you care? I'm asking you. Do you care and love your family? Do you care about your family?
Yes, but I'm not going to put them into a...
Then you don't want to put them into jeopardy.
Bubble.
You don't want to put them in jeopardy either. And you want to make sure that you have at least a few safeguards in your home.
Oh, yeah, like VCR heads?
Well, I'm talking about, are you going to keep some spare cash?
Yeah, I always do.
Then you absolutely do believe that this is a real problem.
No, it's hype.
Well, then why are you keeping spare cash?
For earthquakes and other problems.
Earthquakes? What will that do? We've had an earthquake. I don't think it shut down too many ATMs.
No, and why do you...
Well, so So we're talking about something that will affect ATM machines. We're talking about something that will affect banks. We're talking about something that affects computers directly. And that means the delivery of fuel, the delivery of food. That means the delivery of money.
You're paranoid.
Could very well be, ma'am. Like I said, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but why we're here and why we're talking on this program tonight is about saving lives.
What about the argument, though, that these Y2K people, such as yourself, Jay, are paranoid?
Well, they can say anything they want. There was a time in this country when they thought the earth was flat, Phil. There was a time here in the United States when they didn't believe the world was round. And along came a man by the name of Christopher Columbus. And he proves something a little bit different. Christopher Columbus came along and told the people of America, I believe this country, the world, is round.
Hey, dude. So, like Android, like a rooted device, hasn't anybody actually hacked the NVIDIA drivers to take that crap out?
Well, I don't think that anybody would want to, because there's so many things that you wouldn't be able to do if you removed it.
Really? Are you sure?
I mean almost. Yeah. Like all kinds of stuff would be broken if you removed it.
Does it even use it? I don't think it uses it. Does it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
How is that even possible when you can stream Netflix?
Well, no. The reason that I think that is because there's that video about that Sony reference display that they use, and it doesn't have HDCP support in it. And the guy who was reviewing it said that there was all kinds of crap that just didn't run because programs just expect it to be there.
I'm sorry. I'm really skeptical about that, dude. I think that you can. I could be wrong, but I think that you can stream Netflix on your computer and record it using OBS. I'd like to see if you can do that.
Yeah, but that's different. But no, I know. But what I'm talking about, though, I'm saying, like, if you have a computer that doesn't, have HDCP, it's just not going to let you do a lot of stuff at all to begin with. Is what I'm saying. It's like, it's like yeah. If you have a computer that has it, and then you could probably record Netflix with OBS. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm talking about like if you don't have it at all. I don't even honestly. I don't think that the Netflix app will even work. I don't think the Netflix website will even work if you don't have it, because I think it looks for it.
Do you have a Netflix account? Because I
bet are you kidding me? So sorry, I'm heterosexual.
I know. So I know, me too. But Jesus.
Wait. Let me see if I can find it though, because because I'm curious again, because even though it was a long time ago, like somehow just like my memory, I distinctly remember this guy talking about HDCP not being there and shit not working. Wait, hang on, let me see if I can file a link it.
Well, there is an older version of the drivers that doesn't have it, and if you give me the date, I probably have the exact version of when they changed.
Yeah, but it's pretty old though. I think it's so old that because you're gonna have to go back like 15 years. I don't even think there's a driver for your video card.
Do you know what you sound like to me? You sound like just a beaten housewife, man. Like you're fine with faggot shit.
I'm not fine with it. I'm just telling you. The reality is you're stuck with that dog shit. It is so deeply embedded.
Well, again, my phone is rooted and I own it now. I was fucking with my Windows Apps drive with Skype and shit the other day, and it would not let me modify the files. But
okay, here we go. Oh man, this motherfucker. See, I found it. See, shit like Netflix it uses. Yep. It is like HTTP has that fucking shit. It's baked into it. So even the goddamn Netflix website won't work with it.
Well, what I'm saying,
so
what good is it? What good is it if you could just record your screen with OBS anyway?
Well, it's really just there for, it was supposed to protect, Blu-rays and shit like that, but because, like in DVDs, but because like the keys leaked and all that, a lot of it ended up being useless.
I was just thinking about your fucking drive still. I still want that son of a bitch.
Yeah. No, okay, well here, wait, I'm linking it. See, he says on this monitor he can't watch Blu-rays, he can't use Sky Qbox, anything that's HTTP encrypted.
HDPC or whatever.
But the websites though are gonna have the same problem though because okay, look, this is how jacked up fucking Netflix is. You can't play 4K video in Netflix unless you have an Intel CPU. I'm serious. You can't do it on an AMD CPU.
Why? What difference does that make?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. I think I know
how
why. I think because Intel has that fucking quick sync. It has that quick sync, right? That's probably what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, but what really happened though, like there was some money changing hands there. Intel wanted that. They wanted to be able to fucking say they had something that AMD didn't. Yeah.
Well, you know what I got?
Oh, come on.
You know what yeah. I have MP4 files on my hard drive. See that? Those are MP4s.
Yeah, I know, but like here's my point though. All I'm saying is everything is so poorly written that I suspect that if you actually found a way to disable it, random shit would just stop working. Like I bet random games would just stop working because the fucking Bink video in them is looking for it. You want to fucking bet?
Why are you trying to bum me out or bum me down? I was in a good mood, man.
I'm just being realistic. I mean, like you want to pretend that it isn't over?
Well, not if I can, help it. And by the way, the tools that get around shit like that, people are starting to have fucking dollar signs and shit on them. That's who the guy I was talking about from Italy the other day. That fucker does underground fucking rooted app shit, and he's got it locked down to you can download one of his apps every 30 days. When I talked to that fucker, he was eager to give me a key, and he was eager to
Oh. Well, no, so on NVIDIA's forums, of course, the NVIDIA asshole, we do not provide a method to disable HDCP.
Isn't it my hardware, fag?
You're talking about a company that neutered, $1,500 video cards so that you couldn't fucking mine shit on them. NVIDIA telling you what you can do with your fucking video card.
Man. Well,
I know. I fucking know.
I'm thoroughly pissed.
I know. I mean, the thing that irritates me is. I know. The thing that irritates me too is that we know there are actually bugs and like weird. You know how like sometimes, occasionally, you will just see like you'll get just like a black screen just occasionally. I bet that fucking bullshit is related to that HDCP. I bet it is.
Well, I got the right software, so I'm pretty stable now.
Yeah, all I know is it's. I mean, I'm sure there is a way to get rid of it. But see, that's what I'm saying. See, nobody's even trying to get rid of it just because they know that it's going to break shit.
Well, there's always Linux, right? Does Linux have it? The Linux drivers?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you have control over it because it's an open source driver. So there has to be a way to disable it. I mean, worst case scenario, you could just change it and recompile it.
I think we're going to have to deal with a lot of input lag and a lot of Linux bullcrap pretty soon here. I mean, I'm not installing Windows 11, dude. There's there's workstations, VM workstations that people use to install Windows 11 right now, but I'm not even going to try it. I have no interest at all. It looks fucking worse in every way.
Yeah, I have. Well, I mean. The only reason that I was going to bend over for it was direct storage, but when they said that the Windows 10 was going to have it, I was like, oh, okay, so there's no point in Windows 11 now.
Yep. So.
I know, it has nothing. It has nothing.
If Diablo 3 didn't have DRM, it'd be the game of the year right now, still for me.
Actually, you know what? I do have an idea. What you could potentially do, I bet that there's a certain like cable you could use to connect the monitor that wouldn't support HDCP, and that way you could get it out of there. Because I think I vaguely remember that. Like somebody had some weird kind of DVI cable that basically just didn't carry it, and when they did it, like they showed a screenshot where like the HDC like it didn't like it was like X'd out, like it wasn't enabled. So I think that's like the only way I can think of, at least on Windows, that you could actually get rid of it.
Okay, so
but I'm like
yeah. Well, similarly, people are doing that kind of shit with Android Auto. When you hook your phone up to your car, and each car has a different HUD and different shit. Well, Google has a bunch of rules and authentication crap that they check when you plug that cable in, because they don't want you executing different apps or different code, right? Well, people are getting around that shit now. That's that foreign I was talking to the other day.
Oh my god, this is fucking nuts. Like, okay, I'm just reading about this. Apparently, when you go into the PlayStation 4 settings, on a PlayStation 4, you can disable HDCP. So a PlayStation 4 has more options than a fucking computer. That's like being fucking jump kicked by bread.
Get that ugly leg off of me, dude. His leg is ugly.
Man, that's pretty offensive, though. I mean, that's pretty fucking like a console should not have more options than a fucking computer.
Hey, were you gonna be nice to that guy and just drop the answer on his lap? That poor guy who couldn't find your music hack or whatever for MAME.
I think I'm probably just gonna put like a whole complete thing on archive, where it just has the samples of it, because basically nobody can handle the fact that you have to split the stereo tracks. They just can't
just
wrap
have
their
like
fucking brain around it.
Pre-configured where they just will push one big green button.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, where it's basically just like a no nag. Yeah. And then and it's already in the samples folder. And if they can't get it working with that, then
no, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if they can't get it working with that, it's over.
One big green button.
I did that with Street Fighter 2. When I did the Street Fighter 2 one, that's how I did it. I put the samples thing in the folder, and it was just like.
So has Archive ever deleted anything of yours yet?
I haven't really paid much attention.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't like really,
Well, how long would it take how long would it take to slap that setup together for that guy, that one guy?
Well, I'd have to, pull down the latest MAME source and then, recompile it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I haven't done it, because it's kind of a pain in the ass,
Yeah. Well, that's probably why he's asking you. He doesn't want to do it, but he doesn't want to ask you for help.
No. The thing is, I had them on Dropbox, and the links, and they broke a long time ago.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that's why he's. Yeah, but I mean, the thing that makes me laugh though, I mean, it's like, they came to this crap so late. It's like it was, 4 years after you put it up. Oh, hey, where is it? It's like 4 years. I mean, you think that anything on the internet's gonna last that long?
Hey, you know what? Actually, if you get that zipped up or rared up or anything, I can put it on my Mega account, which doesn't seem to delete shit, oddly enough. And you get like 50 gigs with each account, so that's plenty of space. Like I said, I've never seen those guys delete anything of mine yet. So if you want a permanent link, I could probably get one on that Mega site. So if you get it, man.
See, I don't. No, see, that's what archive.org looks like for me right now. But the thing is, I don't see the Street Fighter 2 one though. I might have uploaded Street Fighter 2 on a different account, because basically, I just use like a temporary email thing to create it. So I don't even think I have access to the Street Fighter 2 one anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can always slap up a fucking a properly named video for the guy, or if you just give it to me, I'll just fucking make a quick video on it. I've never used it, so me not know what do, but at least you could say, hey, Painbow over here did it for you. Here's the link.
Well, dude, I mean, the thing is that other dude, like that MAME 2003 weirdo. I mean, he's been releasing it. I mean, because he got, like, when I put the source code up, they took it and they, added it to their like weird version of MAME, and they've been putting it out. Although, see, the thing is, I could tell they kind of screwed it up, because they somehow like used like these really low quality samples for the music, and I was just thinking, like, the whole point is that you want to listen to the music, and it's like, what, you're gonna fuck up the music quality.
Oh God!
I don't know. Like, I just
get something right, man.
God. You know what it was? Because they were doing it for the Raspberry Pi. It was like a version of MAME for the Raspberry Pi, and then I think because the samples were so big, like it didn't fit in its RAM or something.
Never.
And so they butchered it up. Yeah, exactly. I know.
All right. Well, fuck that.
And I'm going to prove it. And guess what happened, Phil?
You prove the world is round. Now, do you really want to take a chance? I don't. You want to play with the lives of your children? I don't. You want to play with the life of your wife? Some of you guys might want to play with the life of your wife, but I wouldn't want to do that. You want to play with the lives of your friends? Not me. I'm Jay Santos. What I'm trying to do with Citizens Auxiliary Police is give people some options.
All right, well, I understand that, but there is a great deal of skepticism.
Well, no, I recognize the skepticism, but like I said, there's been skepticism for years and years about a lot of different things. People at one time didn't think that you could fly, and look what we're doing now. We're flying more than ever before. So this is something that I think is very, very serious. I think people need to take a big, long, hard look at it.
All right, Jay Santos with us here for the Citizens Auxiliary Police about a preparedness kit, Y2 Nightmare, spelled with a K. And in it, they list a variety of things: $200 in cash, 10 gallons of water, get some backup systems, get rid of cable and unplug all appliances in case there is a Y2K burst, satellite television. There's a possibility it's downlinked from satellites, etc. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County. There are a lot of people who are saying that this is panic mongering and that this is the fear and the paranoia of a few infecting the sort of the apathy of many and turning them into people who are worrying about a whole lot of things that just might not happen. What?
Bill Hendry.
Okay, Y2K's messing with me. 1-800-5201. It doesn't feel good. Maybe that's what I had last night with that shrimp Creole. A little Y2K with a shrimp Creole. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County. Little KY with a what? Phil Hendry Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. We're a little bit of a mess here, Jay, tonight in terms of our timing. I hope you forgive me.
I heard the joke that you made about Y2K, and while it can be funny, Phil, it also affects human beings. It is a problem that we've got, and certainly we don't want to make light of it.
No, I don't want to be light. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of whatever possible problems could be, but you got to admit we have to laugh through the problems.
Well, there's no doubt. You've got to keep a smile on your face and do what you can. I'd like to give a phone number out if I could, Phil.
Go ahead.
This is number 2, Citizens Auxiliary Police. If you want to find out about the Y2K adapter, which you can put into any wall socket in your home, this will mitigate the effects of any Y2K electrical burst, and that is downloading the virus through the electrical system as well as downloading the virus through the cable system or any satellite television system you have. You give us a call at 213-251-3189.
All right, 213-251-3189.
That's correct, Phil. We'd be happy to send out any information we possibly can to folks listening.
All right, our number here is 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in L.A. County. Here is Hawthorne on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi there. Jay's going to know who this is in a minute because listening to this thing on the radio on the way home, and Y2K is a very real problem. However, what this guy is doing here, I think, is very irresponsible.
It is a very real problem.
Yeah, what he's saying, though, I don't even know where to start. First off, you cannot download a virus through your home electrical system?
We're talking the Y2K virus coming through. As you know, it's going to affect the electric. It could possibly affect electrical supply.
No, you may have a power surge, but there's going to be no such thing as a virus that's going to infect you. There would be no means by which the virus could be stored.
Are you willing to take that chance?
Well, yeah, I take that chance. How are you going to store a virus coming through an electrical system? Where's it going to...
All I want to do is save some lives.
How would you die from an imaginary virus coming through an electrical system?
You're losing your electrical supply, you're losing your water supply, etc. You've got a very real possibility of some life-threatening situation.
I don't believe that you really understand the problem.
What we're trying to do, and I don't know what you do for a living, but I'm involved in public safety. And we do try to make people aware of these problems.
Well, first off, let's start. You said. Now, give me a second here.
Can't filter these things out is all I'm saying.
You said that a virus could be downloaded through a satellite television dish?
That's correct.
Why, that was interesting to me, too. How so?
Yeah, well, it's impossible.
Primarily, Phil, because... Well, excuse me, sir. I finished my point. At any given time, orbiting the Earth right now, you've got a number of communication satellites. I'm sure this gentleman's aware.
Sure.
You have downlinking going on at a very high rate of speed.
Downlinking?
Well, in other words, the signal transmission going between satellite and receptor on Earth. Okay? You understand how satellites work?
I very much so,
satellite television. So what you have, and my understanding is, and I've been told this by at least 3 people who are working on the programming problem, is you can downlink that virus from a satellite, over a satellite wave.
Wrong. No. Have you ever heard of anybody?
I don't know what your credentials are, but I'm quoting people who do programming.
Have you ever heard of anyone plugging in a computer to a satellite dish and speaking through a satellite dish like you do a cable TV box?
Absolutely.
No,
you can't.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
you cannot.
Of course I have. I mean, many computers right now are hooked into satellites.
Yeah, many computers control the satellites and where they move.
That's
where they send
exactly
signals.
what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can get this.
Are you saying the Y2K virus travels through space?
That is correct. Whenever there's a transfer of data or information, there is a danger of a transference of the virus as well.
Let me ask you one question.
And that's what I want everybody to be aware of.
Let me ask this man one question. If there is a virus, let's say, that is coming through your cable TV box, and it's coming into your television or your stereo.
And that's why we want people to get...
No, let me ask the question. Let me ask the question.
Just try not to minimize the dangers here. This reckless disregard, I think, for public safety.
Where would this virus be stored? In what means would your television store an electrical virus? It doesn't have a hard drive. It doesn't have RAM memory. Where would it store it?
In the chips.
What
television chip? Please, sir. The back of the television. The video chips.
You have nothing but...
Video chips, controller chips, you name it. That's exactly where this thing is going to be stored. People need to be aware, Phil. You cannot minimize this problem.
So the computer virus, the Y2K virus, is coming through space from the satellite.
That is correct, because a lot of these satellites are not Y2K compliant. You watch what happens. They've launched these things. You've got a certain amount of programming up there that's not Y2K compliant. It's going to send that virus wherever, as I say, there is a downlinking of information. You've got the possibility that you're going to be seeing this.
All right, here is Orange on KFI AM 640. Orange, hello.
Yes, I'd like to ask...
all I'm doing is I'm talking about saving lives, as we always have.
Yeah, I'd like to know how you define Y2K compliant and what a Y2K virus is.
Well, let me explain it to you. I'll explain it to you as best I can what Y2K is. It is a virus in a computer that does not recognize the year 2000.
Okay,
it thinks it's the year 1900. And as a result of that, it spreads that disinformation or misinformation, if you will, throughout every other computer and information system that it is downlinked to.
Well, I'm sorry, but I think you're incorrect. I'm a computer programmer, and in the training that I've had, and the experience that I've had, that's not the problem with the Y2K.
You asked me, and I'm telling you.
Right, but now I'm giving you some feedback because I'm a professionally trained person in that industry.
If you ask me a question, in other words, the premise was that you didn't understand what it was, so I'm explaining it to you.
Oh, no, I completely understand what it is. What I'm saying is
why did you ask me? Why did you ask me that question?
Such a problem like that, first of all, isn't a virus. It's very specific to a very specific program that's being executed. Yeah. It has nothing to do with being downloaded or uploaded through a satellite or through an electrical outlet.
Well, I want to hear what the man's saying.
I understand, but this is sort of a disregard for people's safety. And the more skepticism...
Exactly. I think that it is about people's safety, and that's one thing that you're completely, absolutely right about. The problem is that you're misinforming people and therefore perpetrating their safety.
I can tell you right now, how am I endangering their safety? What am I saying here that's going to endanger their safety? Everything I'm saying here is going to help them.
Because you're going to instill paranoia in people. You're not going to allow people to sleep well at night because you're filling them with crap.
The Y2K bug's real, correct?
The Y2K bug is real. Not virus.
It's
not
real.
virus.
It's real.
Not virus.
Not
virus.
Bug, whatever.
Is real. But it is very program specific. And it's specific to very outdated programs.
Well,
with most companies.
What are you going to do when you're sitting in your home on New Year's Eve, sir, and you get an electronic burst through your cable system?
What do you mean electronic burst? Describe to me this electronic burst.
I'm asking you.
Are you talking about an electronic surge?
I'm asking you, what are you going to do when you're sitting at home and you're watching a videotape? What's your favorite movie?
That's irrelevant.
Well, let's just say your favorite movie.
Any movie.
All right, let's just say your favorite movie is Bambi or whatever, and you're sitting at home and you're watching that with your wife, and the year 2000 hits, you don't have a Y2K compliant film. What that does, again, transference of information is what we're talking about. Okay?
A VCR cannot transfer information unless it's recording. The only thing it can do is decode information.
This guy's watching Bambi.
If you're watching Bambi, you're watching Mighty Ducks, whatever, and all of a sudden that information, that Y2K non-compliant tape is transferring information to the VCR, which then backs that information up, through your entire information system there with a lot of people got their computers hooked into their hi-fi and stereo systems. Now
right.
you got
the thing is that the bottom line is simple. The bottom line is simple.
Let's talk about saving lives.
Saving lives? How are you going to save lives? How are people's lives being
people could die.
Prejudiced?
You understand?
People can die from this?
People could die from it.
Okay, let's see. Explain to me how. Give me a hypothetical.
Well, I'll give you a hypothetical. I'll give you a hypothetical. You're at home. You're watching a videotape. This electrical arc goes into your home video system. Now that Y2K virus is spread through that whole entire informational system, okay? And that is going through your electrical system in your home.
I'm sorry.
Sir, if your refrigerator
You know what? Let's stop arguing. You've made it clear that you have absolutely no understanding about the Y2K.
Can I ask? I'd like to ask the gentleman. Are you a computer programmer or?
Yes, I am.
All right. There's a lot of people with computer experience calling and disagreeing with you.
And there's a lot of people feel I could trot out just as many people with computer experience who agree with me.
The Y2K situation is not a virus. The virus is something that spreads itself.
We just know it. Just nobody knows. And
the Y2K is a program bug, not a program virus. It's not something that spreads itself.
All right, I appreciate your call, sir. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County.
Why not be ready, Phil? Why not get set for what could be potentially a very disastrous situation? Hopefully it's not a disastrous situation. But if you're at home and you do not have a Y2K compliant videotape that you might have gotten from a video store someplace that is not Y2K compliant, it could be an older film. You could be watching any number of like Casablanca or anything like that, and all of a sudden you're sitting at home and you're watching that and everything just shuts down because you've got the wrong movie. And friend, that's not funny. And it's a frightening thing to have to go into a video store and have to pick out the right film and be frightened to death that if you're watching the wrong movie, then your refrigerator is going to shut down. It's bad.
Phil Henry Show with Jay Santos here, talking Y2 Nightmare, spelled with a K, preparedness kit. You gave that number out, 213-251-3189. If you'd like to get a hold of that Y2K adapter, you plug that into the wall. You plug all your components in there. It filters out the virus as it comes from the outer space, I guess is what he said.
All right. I do want to say, again, before we get back to some more phone calls, we are talking about information systems that can transfer the Y2K virus back and forth between systems. So it's very important. For instance, I mentioned the videotapes, CD-ROMs, CDs. If you have the wrong videotape, and I mentioned this at the last break, if you're watching, in fact, as a matter of fact, I'll give you an example. We did a test. We had a mock-up Y2K virus in a cable system, which at that time we were playing a non-Y2K compliant videotape. And
was this a movie?
It was a movie. I think it was Escape from New York. It was Escape from New York. As soon as we turned on Escape from New York, the whole house shut down. And we could not get, I couldn't get out because we had electrical locks on the doors and we were locked in. That's that scene where they cut the finger off the president. Was not Y2K compliant. We were messed up, and this is what I'm talking about. I
don't understand what you mean Y2K compliant videotapes. You mean the information's traveling between tape and...
That is exactly, between the tape and the video machine, exactly.
So is there a way we can find out?
I don't know if your video store knows. I know some of the Y2K, non-Y2K compliant films, Escape from New York is one, 101 Dalmatians is another. I mentioned Mighty Ducks 2. Mighty Ducks 1 is fine. Mighty Ducks 2 is not Y2K compliant. There are a number. The Twilight Zone collectible series. There is a film called Attack with Jack Palance. I think is not Y2K compliant. It's a crapshoot, and you have to be on your toes in terms of what you're going to be doing, even in your home entertainment center.
So my idea would don't be watching any videotapes.
Or you could pick up this Y2K VCR cleaner that we've got. Most of the early Spielberg work, by the way, is not. You pick up this tape. You put it in a VCR, and it can begin to mitigate some of the residual Y2K contaminant off the heads. People call 213-251-3189. We can give them some more information.
All right, let me go to some phone calls here. San Gabriel on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Hi.
Yes.
Mr. Santos, I really respect your desire to help the public, but you're way off base. I'm an electrician, and there is no way that a virus can be downloaded through electrical conductors.
It's depressing. You're a what?
I'm an electrician. I have been for 9 years. Now, you can get a power
your
surge.
electrician's not the same as electrical engineer.
No, we actually do what they think they can do on paper. We make it work.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think you understand processing systems.
I have had electrical theory. I do know how it works.
But what does that got to do with computer programming, computer informational transfer?
What does an electrical conductor have to do with all of that? Nothing.
I want to say something to the host at this time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because you don't want to talk to me because you know I'm right.
No, the lady can laugh, but this woman's part of the industry, and here's problem number two.
Yeah, I'm going to sell your filter, too. I'd like to know what your filter consists of.
Yeah, this is
what electrical components does it consist of?
The industry right now is trying to keep the information away from the American people, so they do not, this lady knows it's true.
No, it's not, and you're really trying to bamboozle these people out of money. You're nothing but a fraud.
I dare you.
You're a fraud. I'd like to come down and test the equipment. I'd like to see what it's filtering.
Absolutely, that's what I'm offering you. I'm offering you to try our Y2K.
No, I don't want to buy it. I want to come down and see what it's filtering out.
I will give it to you for free. If you give me your name off the air.
You send it to KFI, and they can test it out there. I'm sure.
No, ma'am, I'm not going to send it to KFI. Don't send it to me. I don't want the damn thing.
Well,
okay,
do you want it or don't you, ma'am? I'll send it to you for free.
You're talking about power surges coming in and turning out your entire house, and tapes and such. Tapes have an input, but they don't have an output. A TV does not have an output to go through your whole house.
Can I ask you a question? Then why was it we were watching The Farmer's Daughter, all systems going from that tape system?
Well, just a minute ago, it was a different tape that you were watching. But the tape is regardless.
What was it? Farmer's Daughter.
Non-Y2K compliant tape. I'm sorry?
Regardless of the tape, how many plugs did you have plugged into that receptacle? How many things did you have going on in your house? And when was the last time you had your wiring upgraded?
The industry, and I put that in quotes, has a strong desire to reap the benefits of the Y2K.
Why don't you want to answer my question?
Because you know what the answer to the question is.
You probably tripped a circuit.
Who do you work for? I'm serious.
As a matter of fact, I own my own electrical contracting company, which is very successful.
And you're contracting with who?
Yeah, well, let me see. I contract with different school districts and also private industry.
Well, what do you suspect this woman of?
Phil, she's working within the industry. They have a vested interest, and a lady can laugh, and that's fine. That's all right.
You know what, sir? You're just trying to fraudulently get money from people.
I don't get how Farmer's Daughter wasn't Y2K compliant.
There is no such thing as a tape that is not Y2K compliant.
Let me ask the lady, who's paying you to call this program?
My cell phone, which my company pays for, which I'm now on my home line.
The question. Your company is paying for your call here.
No, I'm on my home line now, so now I'm paying for it.
You're being very evasive.
I'm being evasive. You have yet to tell me what your filter consists of.
We're talking about a filter that can begin to mitigate.
What does it consist of? How is it filtering it?
I'm talking about saving lives.
How is it filtering it?
If you're not interested in saving lives, that's.
I am very much. Excuse me, I'm fully first aid trained. I can save lives, but this is not going to save lives. This is only going to take people's money.
I'm talking about non-Y2K compliant videotape, CD-ROM. We did the same. We did the same experiment with some REO Speedwagon or whatever it was.
Please.
We put an REO Speedwagon tape on.
You have yet to answer my question on what does it consist of.
There was no laughter on that street.
How does it consist? What does your unit consist of? Nothing.
Can I ask you a question? I've answered your questions.
Sure. You have yet to answer my question, but I'll gladly answer yours.
What is your favorite classic rock band? What's your favorite rock and roll band?
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
I want to make a point. What is your favorite rock and roll
Pink Floyd is good.
Pink Floyd. Not Y2K compliant. See,
oh, my gosh. Well, I better throw away all my albums now.
Well, what I'm saying, ma'am, is if you put a Pink Floyd album on midnight and you're home...
Do you understand the difference between dirty electricity and clean electricity?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'd like to know what you're peddling.
Dirty electricity only deals when you're dealing with computer systems and such.
Exactly.
Okay, and how do they keep it clean?
Anyone whose residence goes down January 1st will have to pay the industry.
No, they don't.
The industry knows this, and this lady represents them.
No, they don't. There is no such thing as dirty electricity coming into your
appliances. You are not answering this woman's questions, and that disturbs me.
I've answered every question a woman's
asked. You have yet to answer any question.
I don't know the fundamental basics of the adapter. I do know that
you're manufacturing it and selling it. You should.
Well, that Wario Speedwagon shut down one city block.
It does not.
REO Speedwagon
An album or CD will not shut down a grid.
You're talking about REO Speedwagon, The Farmer's Daughter, and Escape from New York. When you put these into your VCR or your CD player, it shuts down the house?
In some cases, more than just a house.
What else are you using at the time? You probably have an older house with older wiring.
Why do you keep repeating with the same album?
You're tripping circuits.
No, that's fine. I put on Smash Mouth, everything's fine. I put on Pink Floyd, things die.
No,
things go
that's
away.
not true.
I'm telling you right now, it happens.
That is not
All
going
right,
to happen. You have an electrical problem, and your house is going to burn down before Y2K affects it.
Not true.
All right, listen, thank you for your call tonight, ma'am. I do have to run. KFI AM 640, Phil Hendry Show, Jay Santos on the line. We can take another call here before the break. All right, let's go to Los Angeles on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Yeah, how you doing? I just want to say, the Y2K isn't a virus. It's a bug. And the bug, it's a flaw in a computer program that it can't be transferred from one computer to another or one object to another object.
It's the same thing. Bug, virus, same thing.
No, it's not. A virus is a program. A virus is a program that someone writes that infiltrates a computer system and then degrades that system.
I don't know.
A bug,
I don't know who you work for.
Excuse me. A bug
you work for.
Hello?
Who do you work for?
I don't work for anybody.
Yeah,
I'm an engineering student. But that's regardless of the fact of what a bug doesn't make a difference with how I know. Excuse me. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish.
Okay.
A bug is a flaw in a program, which means but the Y2K is when it was initially set up, it was only set up for a 6-number code, which would be 010100, which would be January 1st.
Say that number again, please.
010100 would be January 1st, 1900.
That's not what I've got. That's not what I've got.
And the Y2K, the reason why the Y2K is, the bug is because the original computers, when they were made to save computer memory because they weren't that fast and to make them go faster, they used up to save space. Rather than using a 4-digit year, they only used a 2-digit year.
You're going to put in some Pink Floyd, whatever you want to do.
But no, you can talk about Pink Floyd. You can talk about Pink Floyd. It's irrelevant to the fact that the Y2K bug only affects computers that are programmed in that manner. It is not something that can be transferred from a VCR to a TV.
Did you get a student loan?
Excuse me?
Did you get a student loan for your education?
No, I did not.
All right. Here's what I'm talking about, Phil. A lot of people just don't get this. We're talking about information. Whether it's coming off a CD, whether it's coming off a videotape, whether it's coming off CD-ROM, whatever. This information being transferred, okay?
No.
Now, my friend here in Los Angeles...
You've been cutting off everybody else in this entire show. Let me tell you something. It is not.
Then why is it every test run of Mighty Ducks 2, it shut the house down, shut down one half...
Maybe you ought to... Oh, look, the tests that you're doing are...
What do you mean Mighty Ducks 2 shut down a whole grid?
Okay, let me tell you something. Whatever test you're doing, it's like anything. It's like any kind of survey you're going to do. A survey should reflect what you want it to reflect.
This is true.
Not necessarily.
Skewing the information, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, sir.
And you're making it do what you want it to do.
I really resent this, Mr. Henry. When you got a lot of human beings whose lives are in danger, I really resent this.
I'm listening to what this man is saying, and what he's saying makes some sense, okay? And I don't understand what you say when you put in The Farmer's Daughter, a whole city grid got shut down.
That will never happen. And the whole thing about the whole world's going to shut down because this Y2K bug is absurd. Because of the fact of the matter is... Okay, so you're telling me that when the year 2000 hits, corn's going to stop growing, cars are going to stop driving? I don't think so.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're talking about an airborne virus, you're talking about a virus that's going to be downloaded informationally from satellite to satellite. Why isn't it possible for some crop failure?
I don't know, but it's like you're trying to correlate all these things together, and that's not what the thing is. The Y2K is a bug. It's a flaw in the original programming of the operating systems of computers. It has nothing to do with transferring information.
I need to break. Thank you, sir.
Phil, I really think what you're doing is irresponsible, and...
I just don't understand if I put on a videotape of 101 Dalmatians...
Phil, we ran a test on a mock-up. I forget, we had a Pink Floyd The Wall album. You put on Comfortably Numb. You're not going to be... There's bad things, okay, because you're transferring information, whether or not there is a good intake of oxygen into the house as well. And
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about suffocation or whatever.
So if I got a Pink Floyd CD on at midnight on January 1st, I'm going to suffocate?
Because of Y2K, exactly. And because you do not have an understanding of the electronics, don't blame me.
Well, it just seems ridiculous because a Pink Floyd CD ain't Y2K compliant, and I'm listening to Comfortably Numb, and I'm going to gag. Actually, it makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? played the crap out of it when I was at K-West. Jay Santos is with us from the Citizens Auxiliary Police. They're talking about Y2 Nightmare, spelled with a K, preparedness kit. If there is Y2K disruption because of a computer virus or bug or whatever it is, these are some things that you should have, and we certainly had, as we have had in the past, a great many people calling the show tonight and saying that it is a load, and many of them are computer programmers, people who are proficient in, proficient electricians and electrical engineers and so on. And so, of course, my question then, Jay, for you is how is it you can make these claims when there are so many allied against you and people like you?
Well, Phil, as I said before, there's a time when people didn't think that you could walk on the moon, and then we went and we did it. There was a time when people didn't think you could, eat fresh vegetables without getting sick, and there was a time we went ahead and we did it. There was a time when people didn't think you could swim, and then a man went out and he swam around. And so all of these things point to one thing. Don't be too harsh a judge on history until history has been written. By the way, I've just got some information here. I got some bad news for Garth Brooks fans. We've done a couple of test runs and mock-ups. Garth Brooks CDs are not Y2K compliant.
The Garth Brooks CDs are not Y2K...
No, Garth Brooks and Shania Twain, right.
Are not Y2K compliant.
That's correct.
Here is Idlewild on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
I happen to be an electronics engineer as well as a lawyer who has specialized in year 2000 issues for the last 3 years.
Could be a long phone call.
And that's right. And Mr. Santos, there certainly is a year 2000 problem. It is a programming problem which may have further effects. There is no such thing as a Y2K virus. It is not a virus.
It's a bug.
It is a programming bug which was written into software back in the early days of software programming because they wanted to save space. It can cause problems through embedded logic.
You're saying everything I've been saying.
Except there is no such thing as a non-compliant VCR tape. That is absolutely ridiculous.
No, sir, I beg to differ. We've had mock-ups, and there have been tests run. So what are you telling me?
I'm telling you you're wrong. It is absolutely impossible. There is no such thing.
Why did it happen?
You must have had the system overloaded. I assume you probably drew too much amperage from the...
No, every time I put on 101 Dalmatians, there are a number of different tapes. And the whole block goes
Tapes do not have any Y2K components.
Well, I can tell you this. You explain this to me then. I can put on any number of... Look at it. Look, Godfather, fine. All of these are fine. Twilight Zone, fine. Now I put in 101 Dalmatians or Escape from New York, the whole street shuts down. Why?
Absolutely nothing to do with the tape. If it happened, it didn't have anything to do with the tape.
Why is it any Ron Howard film I watch destroys my neighbor's electrical capability?
I would have your electrical system checked because there is
Ron Howard tapes? Come
way
on,
that
sir.
that can be physically possible or scientifically possible.
You watch any Ron Howard movies? I'm just, okay, you don't believe me, so...
It is impossible. Now, as far as the electrical system is concerned...
All of it. Apollo 13? Jeez.
The electrical grid, which supplies all of us with electrical power, seriously could have problems. I don't take issue with what you're saying about having some extra cash on hand or some water or that sort of thing.
That's exactly right. If you watch Ransom by Ron Howard, there's no water for days. Okay?
We don't know, and no one knows at this point how severe the problem is going to be. For example, Visa has reported out that 99.7% of its ATMs are Y2K compliant right now today. The federal government has required that every U.S. bank be compliant by the 1st of June this year. Or
I got to move on. I appreciate that. Here is Los Angeles on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Anything by Kurt Russell, too. Tango and Cash, Backdraft.
Hello?
Los Angeles, yes, sir.
Are you there?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Tango and Cash, you won't eat
for 4
days, no food or clean water.
I can't talk when he's talking.
Yes.
Okay, very good. First of all, I'd like to say that, number one, that there's no Y2K virus. There's no Y2K...
Come on, will you?
Are we going to talk at the same time, or can I talk?
You're putting out misinformation.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Then you talk, and I'll be quiet, and then I'll talk, and you be quiet. How's that?
All right. Number one, all the Eddie Murphy movies?
That is immaterial. Go ahead, next question.
What do you think, Y2K or not?
Immaterial about the movie. Go on with
What's your opinion?
Okay, are you going to listen?
What are you asking him?
I want to know if he thinks Eddie Murphy movies are Y2K compliant.
Phil?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd like to say something, all right?
So he doesn't want to answer. He doesn't want to answer the question. Very interesting.
I'm not going to ask a stupid question. First of all, there's nothing to do with electrical systems, and I have a question for you, sir.
Vegetable systems?
Where did you get your training from electrical engineering?
University of Southern.
What school did you go to?
I went to the University of Maine.
What school did you go to, sir?
I just told you, sir.
What was your major?
My major was in electrical siren.
What was your major?
My major was in electrical stanks.
You know it's a shame that this is a sham.
What did I do?
And that you're lying.
No,
you're not telling the truth.
I'm lying?
Of course
then you go ahead and put Coming to America on and see what happens January 1st.
Speak English, will you please?
I'm speaking English, sir.
No,
you know
you're
that.
not.
Yes, I am.
You know, this is pretty good script you could put on, sir.
Listen, sir, I am telling you, you call this number, 213-251-3189.
You know what?
You watch Trading Places, dead meat.
You know what? I'm the one that's doing it.
Will you come on?
Because I called this show talking to an idiot.
Talking to a man who cares about his fellow man, sir. Really?
You know what?
Go ahead and laugh. January 1st when there's no Rose Parade.
You know what? The only people that you can convince about this Y2K